Oh, man. This update is presented by the County of San Diego HHSA. We will begin here with Monday Night Football. The Jets beat the Bills 22-16 last night with a walk-off punt return in overtime. But the story of the night is that 4 plays into the game, Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury. He was carted to the locker room. Now, early speculation from the Jets is that Rodgers ruptured his Achilles. He will miss the rest of the season. Confirmation on that is expected later today. Of course, things can change. Elsewhere in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, after a Week 1 loss to the Lions, they've gone out and signed defensive tackle Chris Jones to a 1-year deal. His holdout officially over. And the Padres played one of their best games of the season last night. Yeah, remember them? They take down the Dodgers 11-8. Late inning heroics from Juan Soto, a pair of home runs from Manny Machado. Unfortunately, this game does not mean a thing. They are 17 games left in the year. Padres still 8 games out of a playoff spot. If you haven't gotten your updated COVID vaccine yet, make sure you do it. Getting the COVID vaccine is the safest and most effective way to protect yourself. Visit sandiegocounty.gov/coronavirus to schedule an appointment to get your updated COVID vaccine.
Start off easy. Start with the obvious.
This is Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Those goofy bastards are just about the best thing I've got going in this crazy world.
Makes you proud to be an American.
On San Diego Sports 760. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. How did the Aaron Rodgers debut go?
Now Rodgers sits down. He's coming out of the game. Gibson on the return. Near side. I don't see any flag. Gibson inside the 30. Hits the Jets. And he's going to go. Jets win it. Touchdown. Rookie Xavier Gibson. Game over.
Plus, could the guys pull out a win up in the ravine?
Soto hits it in the air to right field, sending Betts back at the wall. That ball is gone.
Time to break it all down. Now, here are the guys.
Happy Tuesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on this Tuesday. And if we sound a little bit different today from this side of the glass, of course, I'm joined by Travis Dale. Mm-hmm. All right. Mm-hmm. TD over here. Mm-hmm. And I got Ben Fletcher on the other side of the control room glass.
I want to break it.
Our studio now sounds like we're broadcasting from a bathroom.
What?
Echo.
It's like we built a tent inside the studio.
We have these vinyl sheets. Well, really one sheet of vinyl.
It looks cool.
It looks so cool, actually.
I just poured water all over my lap.
We are a mess today.
This is going to be the worst show we've ever done, by the way.
We all feel so uncomfortable.
Heads up to everybody out there.
Yeah, this so this vinyl sheet, I'm gonna guess, Travis, and help me out here, 30 feet long.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. Yeah, each wall is probably 12 to 14 feet.
I'm gonna say 10 feet tall. This vinyl sheet has our San Diego Sports 760 logo, the San Diego State Aztecs logo with the spear running through it, and the iHeartMedia logo, all interspersed. If you're watching on YouTube, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, please subscribe to the channel there. You'll be able to see it. This is brand new. It used to be all this like sound buffering fabric that coated this room, and now it legitimately sounds like I'm in an airport bathroom.
When you turn around, it really does. When I'm talking this direction,
yeah.
Wow.
Boy,
that's cool.
You know what I just realized? Bar Cart Friday, when this place fills up with 20 people,
gosh.
This is going to be, I mean, it's going to sound like a dining hall.
Yeah.
Just glasses clinking.
So last night,
there's a camera.
Oh, wow.
I had like a thought last night that we should turn the studio into one of those like ice bars for a Bar Cart Friday. I don't know how.
Oh my gosh, can we do that?
I don't know. I'm in such a weird headspace today.
All I know is
I think we all are.
This is gonna be weird.
Wait, this Friday? Yeah, not this Friday. The next Friday is Basic Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Oh yeah.
Start of fall. It's gonna be pumpkins.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be leaves.
Yeah, the start of fall is a very special time in all of our lives, and we are going to full on do a show.
Wait, surprises.
That's torn.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Whoa.
Wow, we got over our skis. All three of us are a little fuzzy. Forgive us. We're out of sorts because of the new the new studio environment. The other thing that happened to all three of us is we're on a diet, And we can't talk about it yet, but we will in a couple of days. It'll all make sense to our listeners soon.
Right.
The third thing is for anybody who stayed up and watched the entirety of Monday Night Football last night. Wow. You are waking up from a fever dream. Week 1 of the NFL season, the chapter closes on week 1 with one of the most bizarre experiences I think anybody's ever had from a viewership standpoint.
I can say with 100% certainty, the NFL is not scripted. Because nothing that happened last night
or Aaron Rodgers had the shortest script in human history,
or Michael Bay is writing it and he just wants explosions everywhere, right? Because last night is bad for the NFL for 2 reasons. Josh Allen played terribly,
right?
Joe Burrow played terribly this week. That's 2 of your brightest stars up on the rise coming up, and the NFL wants them to be good. And Aaron Rodgers, who you spent all off season, as like Travis says, turning his narrative from villain to like this beautiful
America's sweetheart.
He was running out with the American flag last night.
When he was running out with the American flag, the scene from what was it? World Police was in America.
It was a badass moment.
Oh, it was crazy.
And like even I for a second, I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
It was awesome.
4 plays in, as Travis says, his 5th snap of the game was his Achilles. Like it's the NFL didn't want that.
Yeah, you know what? Josh Allen has more Jets completions than Aaron Rodgers.
He has 3 of them.
No, it's so mean. Yeah. Oh, and 3 to his favorite target last night. I'm blanking.
Is it Whitehead?
Whitehead. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Last night, he had 3 interceptions last season. By the way, he got 3 yesterday off Josh Allen. So an unbelievable game for the Jets defense. I mean, so a round of applause for Robert Saleh's unit, which really kept the season afloat last year. And they were a quarterback away the entire season. Well, guess what? They're going to be a quarterback away for another full season.
Yeah. What do you even do?
Give the ball to Breece Hall.
You call Tom Brady. You call Phillip Rivers. You call someone who's recently retired who wants to take the keys to an absolute Ferrari and drive this sucker to the postseason, because that's the reality of the Jets. That's the reason why Aaron Rodgers picked one team, called the shot, and said, trade me there, because that is a ready, set, bake championship team if you have good enough quarterback play. They're that good.
I'll tell you what, Rich, when Aaron Rodgers went down, here comes Zach Wilson. I literally said out loud, we're going to get to see his mom. And they never showed her. She was never there.
Well, because they didn't expect him to play, so they never, like the production team never found her in the stands. I'm sure they were, trust me, they were looking for her.
I want to know what was mentally going through with Zach Wilson, who was not expecting to take a snap all year long outside of maybe kneel downs, because you're thinking, okay, you're backing up Aaron Rodgers. He's had a couple seasons diluted by injury, but for the most part, he's been a pretty healthy quarterback. And you're thinking you get the entire year on the bench to learn from him and to really like understand game situations through his eyes. 4 plays in, Zach, you're in. Come on, buddy.
I experienced in my career. It's a bizarre feeling, because you're absolutely right, Ben. Like when you are asked to jump into a game, and especially a game where you have no expectations to play, where you're like, I'm showing up and collecting a check.
It happened to you in the playoffs.
Yeah, it did. Oh yeah, absolutely.
When Hardwick got hurt.
So Nick, 2013. So back in 2013, Nick Hardwick was our starting center with then the San Diego Chargers. They've since moved to LA, obviously. And we're on the road in Cincinnati. I'm not kidding you when I tell you, I was so confident I wasn't playing a snap in this game, because Nick's one of these diehards, and I love Nick. I miss him. He's moved to Indiana. But Nick's one of those dudes who he will play through. You saw his arm off at halftime before he won't finish a game. But he goes out there and about 14 plays in, he gets walloped by Ray Maluga, who was one of the most devastating hitters in the league at the time. And he is sword fighting an invisible man out there. Like he is concussed. He's out on his feet. So he drops to a knee. The training staff runs on. And I'm watching the game, still in my mind, just like, that sucks. And not even thinking like, no, you gotta get in there right now. And then I'm like, oh no. He's like, no, he's down. Like, I gotta go. I gotta go right now. So I think the only thing I had pregame, I don't think I hydrated at all. I barely ate. I was just kind of like going through the motions.
Hey, I get to watch a playoff game from field level. This is going to be sweet.
Yeah. I think I had a little chicken stock before the game. I was going to take like 4 snaps that day, maybe a couple of, extra point protections, field goal protection, which is not hard work. So I find my helmet. I go running into the game and I'm like, well, I guess we're doing this now. Take a couple of warm-up snaps with Phillip Rivers and off to the races we go. And we beat the ever-living dog out of the Cincinnati Bengals. Ran all over them.
The first thing I learned about you was when I first got to San Diego, Judson Richards said, oh, yeah, and then or I think you were middays at the time with Mark.
Oh, yeah.
And he said, yeah, our noon to 3 host, Rich Ornberger, he actually saved a Chargers season one time. He came in a playoff game after Nick got hurt, and he played his ass off.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who they made a big deal about it because they were just like, whoa, how did you do it? I'm like, I'm a football player. Like, that's what we do. They're like, yeah, but like normally when a center goes down, it's like bad news. I'm like, right, I guess. I'm like, but that's your job. And that's really what it comes down to. If you're talented enough to play in this league, you have to have this arrogance and confidence that no matter what the circumstances are, you should be able to go out there and perform. Zach Wilson went out there and looked like Zach Wilson.
Well, the full circle question is Zach Wilson that guy? Is he talented enough to come in? Like the dude was a 2nd overall draft pick for the New York Jets. Is he that guy to be able to come in and take what this team is, which is a Super Bowl ready defense? I would say they have Super Bowl ready pieces on the offense. Is Zach Wilson the guy to come in and actually make this a profitable, successful season for the Jets?
My gut doesn't feel like it is.
Me neither.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he pans out to be phenomenal, but from what we've seen so far, it's been average.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a guy that comes in or that you're thinking this is our guy moving forward in the future, but it is a guy where you go, yeah, he's decent backup. I mean, he can come in and win a game if we need to.
And then you look at the other side of it, and Travis, Josh Allen looked awful.
Yeah. Although Josh Allen didn't look as bad as Joe Burrow.
That's true.
I mean, you're talking about polishing a turd here. They were both pretty bad.
He did.
I'll shine her up.
He got intercepted 3 times by the same guy. And then he fumbled the football and gave it back to the Jets in the 4th quarter. It was a comedy of errors.
He fumbled twice on the same play.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't look at the snap. It hit him in the face, and then he picked it up and then fumbled it again. Well, I mean, Quinn Williams punched the crap out of him. By the way, Quinn Williams, dog.
Yeah.
That dude is good.
Yeah, he's very
He is Chris Jones reincarnate.
Did you see when they were panning across each team in the pregame ceremony? I think it was actually during the national anthem. Everybody's taking it in the moment. Eyes are closed. Everybody looks like they're ready to play. When it got to Josh Allen, he looked like he was like an alcoholic. Like he was fiending for his next drink. He was sweaty and hair all down his face. And I thought something looks off right now.
He looked nervous. And he played nervous.
Yeah.
Look, the Jets, you got to give credit to the Jets. That not only was their defense electric all night long, but in the second half, they pitched a damn near shutout.
Mm-hmm.
They gave up the late field goal. It's overtime. They go to overtime, and Xavier Gipson, who nobody knows who that is, arguably saves the game, because I don't know if the Jets offense would have been able to muster the points, but the 65-yard punt return for touchdown.
Stephon Diggs. Sam Martin corrals the snap. It's a short punt. Gibson on the return. Near side. I don't see any flags. Gibson inside the 30. Hits the Jets. And he's going to go. Jets win it.
Unreal.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, that was insane to watch.
So you know how we always get a feel-good story out of Hard Knocks that stays, and then usually the guy gets cut, doesn't make it? He made it. He was the feel-good story out of Hard Knocks. And Xavier Gipson, I mean, it's perfect storybook ending for his week 1. The wild thing, that was the ending to the first Monday Night Football game of the year, and that's not even a top 4 story from last night.
Oh,
yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Achilles injury, which let's go back to that for a second. Aaron Rodgers. So imagine if you're the New York Jets brass, right? You're Woody Johnson, the owner, you're Robert Saleh. You've got this unbelievable team built up. And you start talking to the Green Bay Packers this offseason, and Aaron Rodgers is interested. Not only interested, but then publicly comes out on the Pat McAfee show and goes, no, I want to go to New York and nowhere else. I'm going to be a Jet next season. Make it happen. So Green Bay and the New York Jets get to work figuring out what compensation is fair. Aaron Rodgers signs. And not only is it going well, but Aaron Rodgers restructures his contract to open up room to sign more talent.
$35 million.
This guy has completely bought in. So you must be riding high. You're the owner of the Jets. You're the toast of the town. You're going up to your suite. You probably invited some superstar people with you. You're having the night of your life. Aaron Rodgers runs out on the field with the American flag. Robert Saleh and his bald ass head from the sideline wearing that headset, chewing the mess out of some gum. He's just staring proudly, tears coming to his eyes. Proud to be an American because my quarterback is cute. Like, he is going to have the season of his life. And then 4 plays in, he ruptures his Achilles, which, by the way, we're not 100% sure on.
Right.
You know, so Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, who has SixScore.com, which anybody who likes to bet on football, play fantasy football, you should follow at Pro Football Doc on Twitter or go to this website for all this type of information. Because
He also fixed my knee.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
How about that?
He's the orthopedist that Ben went to.
And Drew Brees' knee, but I mean, we're not comparing things.
No. I mean, one was more important than the other.
Mine.
Right.
Did you guys notice the boos on the first play of the game when it was a run? And then they break free, and all of a sudden the place just erupts. They're roaring.
I don't know. The best moment of the night was Aaron Rodgers. The injury happens. He goes off the field, whatever. Zach Wilson comes in. I think 2 or 3 possessions later, Zach Wilson throws a pick, and they immediately go to a Jets fan in the stands. And like his face is dejected, and it like just looks like there's no life. And then out of nowhere, boom! F you, Zach Wilson.
Yeah, you're number 1.
Oh, and Brees Hall.
Stud.
Dude, absolute stud.
God.
Except he's out of shape.
Well, a little bit.
Well,
But-
keep it going.
Were you watching the Manning cast at all?
No.
So on that big like 83-yard run that he should have scored on,
Right.
like if he was in football shape, he scores on that play. Eli Manning just says, "Oh, he's out of shape.
well,
He's not ready for the season."
what's tough is you can't be ready for football. Like, I mean, even through the preseason, and I'm sure they're pretty protective of him. I didn't see exactly how many reps he took this preseason.
Not very many, if at all.
But it's impossible to be like 100% ready. I remember early in the season, certain times we would be on like a 16-play drive or a 14-play drive early on, and you are just huffing and puffing, just like, oh my God. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it a whole season. This is not good. Like, your heart's pounding in your chest. You find a way, but you have to play yourself into shape. But 127 yards on 10 carries, not a bad day for a running back these days.
And he's so shifty, and that fast twitch muscle movement you always hear talk about. If you want a like example of what it is, it's Brees Hall.
Mhm.
The way he's able to cut back and forth without losing any speed is like Dalvin Cook used to be. Now, Dalvin Cook, on the other hand, had very little juice last night. It was a lot of just running into the back of his own offensive lineman. And I don't know if that was the point in the game where the Bills just knew, well, all the Jets are doing is running it up the gut when Dalvin's in the game. But he had zero room to run, and he did not look shifty at all.
Did notice that at the end of the game there, Stephon Diggs went to Josh Allen and really pumped him up. Tried to bring him back to this game, bring him back to center, and it worked. They had a field goal attempt that bounced off of the upright and somehow still went in. So they tied that game up. But did you see Stephon's face as that thing hit the upright?
Yeah,
It was like, you have to be kidding me.
Trev, you're so right, because Stephon Diggs, he wears all of his emotions clearly on his face, which I think Buffalo fans probably hate, because his emotions over the last few years have been largely negative, whether it's an early exit in the postseason or something like last night, where there's no chance the Bills should have lost that game, especially after Aaron Rodgers goes out with an injury. Like, the Bills should dominate that game. But then you get the situation where, like, the Bills are starting to really have to fight for it, and Josh Allen's throwing picks, and he's turning the ball over, and Stephon Diggs is right back to that guy we saw 2 postseasons ago, where he's throwing his hands up in the air, and he's like, what the hell is this? This is not what I signed up for. I signed up for Super Bowls. So I don't know. That drama is still alive.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. I agree with that as well. I do believe the drama is still alive. Well, we've found a toy here in studio. There's this one looks like the most expensive one. Now you need the adapter. I also noticed the banners have covered up all the outlets. We can't plug in our computers.
We can't plug in our computers. We don't have cameras in here anymore.
It's crazy. I
Our
think
heads are
we have
falling off.
commercial breaks, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we could have done this at a commercial break, but why when we could try right now in studio?
Something else to mention. We are going golfing today thanks to our pals over at Long Ball. We're taking our listener CJ out. Can't wait for that. Steel Canyon. Awesome course. We've played that probably more than anything else because we've done it a multitude of times. But we can't wait to head out there, have some long balls, which our diet does allow for a couple drinks a week.
That is correct.
So we'll have one today, one on Bar Cart Friday.
Just one? We only have one today and
No,
one on Bar Cart Friday?
I don't know.
What's that?
I mean, the long balls. Are we allowed
Our
to have
diet
long balls
allows
today?
for like 2 drinks a week.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we got to space these out. Like, do we do one today and then sips on Friday?
What if our week ends today and then we start a new week tomorrow?
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're starting to make a lot of sense.
So if our week just runs from Wednesday to Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
What? Oh, my
I
gosh.
got the new camera going.
Wait a minute. How did the camera turn to you?
That is mega HD.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's probably too many D's.
I wonder who the camera belongs to.
I don't know,
Us.
but hopefully it stays in studio forever because all we're doing now is just borrowing other people's stuff.
What happened to your camera?
I don't know still.
We don't.
Sorry. That was our box from What's in the Box. That's
Like, I
coming
hope
up
that
until
holds
tomorrow.
together.
Yes, made with just nails.
It's just Brad nails everywhere.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Yesterday
doing
was a fever dream. I don't even know. I mean, here's the two things I know. This is what I know. What we said going into the game is exactly what happened. This is going to be a consequential game for the two quarterbacks because one of them's got to lose. And if either one of them plays poorly, or if something should happen to either one of them, well, it's going to be potentially a long season. For the Jets, we know the answer to that. And it really comes down to Aaron Rodgers tearing an Achilles or not. I'm assuming he did. It looks like all signs are pointing to the fact that he did.
They're saying ruptured.
Well, that just means a complete tear. And then on the Josh Allen side, that was one of the worst performances we've seen outside of Joe Burrow's terrible performance.
I think that may have been statistically Josh Allen's worst game of his career.
It wouldn't shock me.
Mm.
I mean, he coughed the ball up 4 times and then just looked lost. I mean, he looked completely lost, did not protect the football, looked out of sorts all game.
Did you see the internet's animated comparison to Josh Allen?
No.
It's the dog from Up. They look exactly alike. I think his name's Doug in the movie.
Yes,
Yeah. Speaking of dogs, you
Looks
may,
like it, man.
you may have a puppy in your future.
I mean, there's a lot of knocking on wood. The application's in. If we're approved, we get to bring the pup home on Sunday. And its name is indeed Brock.
Wow. Wait, so did they name it Brock or that was your name for the dog?
That is Kendall's name. Before I think she even knew Brock Purdy existed. I've been like inceptioning her for years now. But
Inceptioning her.
this is step 1 to baby.
Oh yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no
Just so
baby.
you know.
So
There's
I
no
texted
baby.
that this morning.
Just
Just you
yeah,
wait.
no baby yet.
Yeah, that. So what was the text that you sent? What does Kendall want to do with the dog?
okay, this is actually for the text line. So
Mhm.
70470, start your message with team. You can also comment on our YouTube page at Big Rich TD Fletch. Where do you stand on clothing for dogs? I'm a
good.
hard no. I do not like it. I think dogs hate it. Kendall is trying to like already buy outfits on Amazon. Like I'm pretty sure our cart is full of little dog clothing. I'm threatening divorce.
Okay. Answer that question on the text line 707. Was it 70470?
Yep.
70470. Start your message with team. Sorry.
Has been for like 7
I
years.
am in a calorie deficit. 70470. Start your message with team if you want to answer that question. Also, the Padres season just needs to end. This is just, we have more bad news.
Yeah, but they were so good last night.
No, because the good news was followed by the worst news, and we'll tell you what that is on the other side.
Well, the Padres play the best game of the season last night, but some bad news. We'll talk about it next.
This update is presented by the County of San Diego HHSA. We will begin here with Monday Night Football. The Jets beat the Bills 22-16 with a walk-off punt return in overtime. But the story of the night is that 4 plays into the game, Aaron Rodgers suffers an injury. He was actually carted to the locker room, and early speculation from the Jets is that Rodgers ruptured his Achilles, and he's going to miss the season. Confirmation expected later today by MRI. Elsewhere in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, after a Week 1 loss to the Lions, the Chiefs have went and signed their defensive tackle, Chris Jones, to a 1-year deal. His holdout is officially over. Padres played one of their best games of the season last night. They take down the Dodgers 11-8 with late-inning heroics from Juan Soto, a pair of home runs from Manny Machado in the game. Unfortunately, this game just doesn't mean anything as there are 17 games left in the year. Padres still 8 games out of a playoff spot, and they got some bad news courtesy of Dennis Lynn after the game. We'll get to that here. If you haven't gotten your updated COVID vaccine, make sure to do it. Getting the COVID vaccine is the safest and most effective way to protect yourself. Visit SanDiegoCounty.gov/coronavirus to schedule an appointment to get your updated COVID vaccine.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, coming off of a Monday Night Football here on a Tuesday. But we want you to join us and the San Diego Blood Bank in saving lives by donating blood at the iHeartRadio Blood Drive. It's happening Friday, September 15th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our studios. We're located at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Your donation can help patients with cancer, severe burns, trauma, childbirth complications, and a whole lot more. And one donation could save up to 3 lives. All types are needed. All donors get a pair of free admission to the Del Mar Racetrack Fall Meet or the Fleet Science Center. While supplies last, make your appointment at sandiegobloodbank.org today. Rich, what you looking at, man?
What was the date on this thing?
September 15th.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We're doing that here?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Wait,
All
is
right.
that this Friday?
I don't know what day that is.
I think that's Friday.
It is.
Okay.
Tuesday the 12th, Friday the 15th. Okay, cool. Yeah, listen, there's arguably no better cause than donating blood. So definitely get out here, participate if you can, if you have time, driving around after work or before. Awesome cause there. Okay. What we need is a heart donation to the Padres. I think that if there's a heart donor out there, because this season has been gutless for the most part, but last night was a reminder of what could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Last night was special. Last night was the greatest comeback of this season for the Padres against a divisional rival. The Dodgers are so good this season, and they weren't supposed to be. The Padres are so bad this season, and they weren't supposed to be.
Rich, I think you nailed it on the head when you said what could have been, because I think all of us kind of expected the pitching staff to struggle coming into the season, and they've largely been great. It's been the offense that has been terrible. But last night was the perfect example of what should have been for this Padres team, because they got down early and the offense battled them back into it.
Yeah, Fletch, it was a fun watch, which I didn't catch live. I had to watch on the highlights. I recorded it, went back, went through the thing. I was shocked, actually, that the Padres were able to come back and win. And on one hand, I was completely excited. On the other hand, it kind of felt like I washed my car and then it rained immediately. I was.
What a perfect analogy.
I mean, I'm like, are you kidding me right now?
And by the way, Travis likes a clean car.
Damn right I do.
No, but honestly,
damn it, Caleb. Keep this clean.
You are American Joe cracking open a cold one, sitting down. Travis, every night we talk, and everybody's got those choices, right? The group text was about Monday Night Football, was not about the Padres. Mm-hmm. And if the Padres were on a heater, if the Padres were cruising into a playoff berth, I'm sure all of us in this room and everyone across San Diego who's a huge NFL fan but also loves the Padres would have a difficult decision to make. But this wasn't even a decision last night for me. It was a no-brainer. Jets, Bills, Monday Night Football on September 11th in New York. Are you kidding me?
Well, it was exactly what we talked about like months ago at this point before the trade deadline. I made the point that the Padres are in a lot bigger danger of missing the playoffs this season. They're in danger of becoming irrelevant as the season comes to an end. And I think that they've gotten to that point, at least in my circle of friends. I mean, I know there are people out there who will watch every single game. There's season ticket holders who will still go to every game at Petco Park. But I think in large part, like, people have made the transition in the NFL. We definitely have as a show. But what I will say is we got some news last night from Dennis Lynn. Rich, Trevor, you ready to have your hearts broken further?
Great. Thank
Here's
you.
the quote.
Yeah, thank you,
After
Ben.
hitting 2 home runs tonight, Manny Machado acknowledged surgery is a consideration to address the tennis elbow that he has been playing through. We'll see, he said, of the rest of the season, but as of now, I am playing.
Okay, so here's what the deal is. Machado didn't get into specifics, and this is from the AJ Cassavell article. Where is it? I just had it. All right. Didn't get into specifics about the potential operation. It's too early to say. And his focus is presently on the remainder of the 2023 season, but tennis elbow or lateral epicondylitis is an injury unrelated to the ulnar collateral ligament. That's the UCL. That's the Tommy John ligament. Any procedure would likely come with significantly quicker recovery time than Tommy John surgery. But Machado, who just signed the lifer contract, the extension, who we know has been bedrock to the Padres' success and maybe some of their failures as well. I mean, if you're going to give them the praise, you got to give him some of the blame too. He's going to be undergoing surgery on his elbow.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Most likely.
Right. Yeah. So it's not good news. And this is my feeling. It's like, are you allowed to just stop playing? Like, can we finish on a high note, an 11-8 win over the Dodgers? Don't even finish this series. Like, can we turn out the lights at Petco and just see in 2024?
Yeah, Rich, it does feel that way. And I guess, I mean, how do you feel if they win tonight? Are you excited? Are you happy? I mean, it always feels good to beat the Dodgers. But at the same time, I'm like, wait, why now?
And there's other considerations to take here. Like, the draft pick thing is real. I think they need to finish below the Nationals in order to retain a top 6 draft pick in next year's draft. And I know that baseball draft picks aren't like basketball draft picks where someone's going to come and have an immediate impact. But damn, dude, you just gave up the best part of your farm system for Juan Soto, who you might not be able to keep. Like, damn, dude, you just gave up a bunch of people to bring in Mike Clevenger, who's not even on the team anymore. Like, there's been a lot of excavating of this farm system that needs replenishing, and a top 6 pick is worth not winning.
By the way,
it's helpful.
Yeah, Fletch. We may have seen Josh Hader in his last game as a Padre.
We also may have seen Blake Snell, for one of the last times this season already. I mean, we're cruising to the finish here, and we're going to have some familiar faces that we've gotten used to here in San Diego that have been a part of some impressive wins, some of the most important wins this city has ever enjoyed. And this Padres team, maybe without them, like you said, Soto trade could be coming. Well, he was an important part of the NLDS wins over the Dodgers that vaulted the Padres into the NLCS against the Phillies last year. Hader, I mean, his performance in the postseason was electric. Snell, obviously an amazing recovery last year and was helpful in the postseason as well.
And might win the Cy Young Award this year.
So when you look at the makeup of this team and you talk about the core players left over, well, it's Fernando Tatis Jr., who's having let's just put it this way, a less than Fernando season this year after the suspension. Machado, who may undergo elbow surgery. Bogarts, who has kind of been invisible from the standpoint of like the World Series champion leadership front that we were all promised. Cronenworth signed a big contract and then poof, he disappeared. I'm worried. Like as a Padres fan, somebody who wants to see them have success, it's worrisome what we saw this season.
So my question to both of you guys, Rich, Trav, why wait on Manny Machado? Why would you not get it done tonight?
Fletch, I feel the exact same way. Go ahead and start it early. I mean, I guess mathematically they're not eliminated from the playoffs.
17 games left. They're 8 games back, but they still got to leapfrog 4 different teams.
Right. And as of that loss against the Astros, I do believe that made them officially, there's no way they can win the West at that point. Yeah. So that portion of it, that door closes. Not that we were ever looking at that. I'm just, that's the first domino that has to fall.
Listen, I mean, just to answer the question from a former athlete's perspective, you just get locked into the tunnel. Like you can't give up on a season, and Machado's a competitive guy. And when you're playing football or you're playing baseball or basketball, you're literally just taking one step at a time down the road. Speaking of steps, to take steps, you need feet. And speaking of feet, I want to send you to the Good Feet store because they've really helped me with some foot pain, ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, and back pain. Okay, I struggled with this for years after my 6-year NFL playing career. I would wake up every morning and it's like the first thing you're doing is like, am I going to have a good back day or a bad back day? Where are we at? But since I've started wearing these arch inserts from the Good Feet store, I've felt better on a daily basis. That's all I can describe it as. I don't think about my back anymore. I wake up, I get to do what I want to do, live the life I want to live. And a lot of it's because of these arch supports from the Good Feet store. I want you to enjoy those benefits too, but it's not just pain relief. It's better balance in all the things you do, better performance in whatever endeavors you're working on, walking around or doing something athletic if you're a weekend warrior. So get to the Good Feet store. They got 200 plus locations around the US and overseas, or go to goodfeet.com to book your appointment today. All right. NFL last night, Monday Night Football, week 1 is in the books. Let's take an early look at week 2, and we will coming up next.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760. And starting Monday, September 18th, when you listen on your free iHeartRadio app, you unlock your shot at taking home part of music history. Open the free iHeartRadio app and win exclusive prizes signed by some of this year's legendary performers at our iconic 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. No one connects artists and fans like iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app today and get ready for the biggest weekend in music. iHeartRadio, free, never sounded so good.
Also, coming up on the show today, we have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hollow Scream. All right, so at SeaWorld San Diego, every twist and turn, death-defying drop, all new special effects and more scares. 4 terror-filled houses will give you something to scream about. Yeah, there's even more dark magic lurking around every corner with electrifying and mesmerizing live entertainment. The screamiest event of the season is now at SeaWorld San Diego's Hollow Scream, starting September 29th through the 31st of October. On select nights. For more information, go to www.seaworldsandiego.com.
And keep listening for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets, courtesy of Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, who could be heard in crystal clear HD on the free iHeartRadio app.
Wow.
Yeah, download that sucker.
All that.
Did we just
really
nail that?
Good. That was so
that felt
good.
That felt
Everybody,
really,
let's
really
just
good.
go to break.
Okay, and coming up next hour, we're going to get back into this game. No, we actually want to take a quick peek over at week 2 in the NFL. I'm out of breath from last night. Like, I don't really want to talk about the NFL other than what happened last night, but we'll do it. We'll give a little preview. We've got some Thursday night football action between the Vikings.
Wait, can I give you guys a pop quiz before we get into it?
Yeah.
What is unique about week 2 in the NFL season in terms of primetime games?
Okay, Amazon Thursday night football comes back.
That's one unique thing.
Okay.
Right?
Monday night doubleheader.
Monday night doubleheader. Week 2 of the NFL season. They started this like 4 or 5 years ago, where every week 2 they will give a Monday night doubleheader. And so I believe they're both on ESPN. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. And what they try to do is schedule it so that there's a little bit of overlap.
It's a 4:15 game and then the regular 5:20 start.
Yeah, it's weird, but I don't know. I mean, I liked it better when one game led right into the other one. Like you actually had to wait to kick off the second game.
Well, and for us working in mornings, like it was nice because the first game would kick off at like 3.
Yeah.
And so I'm already home, and it's less time that I have to watch Stranger Things or play Candy Crush before I can get to the NFL.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the doubleheader Monday night, guys. I just like one game on Monday. I feel like it makes it more special.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that for me. I do. More football is never like a bad thing, though.
Well, no, okay, I get it.
I'm down for Monday night football, Tuesday night football, Wednesday night football. This is the argument.
Yeah.
Holy
and
crap!
Then you put it together, and it's a good thing, right?
One year ago, week 2 of the NFL season.
This was the.
That's why I was doing it.
That's the one good thing in one hand, and I'm still not a fan. I just like the fact that there's one game on Monday night, Fletch. One game.
Travis, do I need to lay this out for you? So here's how it works.
All right.
You got one good thing in one hand.
Okay.
You got one good thing in the other hand. God, this was a bad argument.
Yeah, you put them together, you have 2 good things?
Yes.
You still have 2 good things, but now they're in one hand.
Okay, but now we have games that overlap, right?
Yeah.
So I got to flip back and forth?
You don't got PIP? Picture in picture?
I don't want picture in picture.
Why?
I just want... God, man. Also, I don't want a little picture there messing up my big picture.
What's interesting about it, too, is they scheduled 2 games on the same coast, basically. You have Browns at Steelers. You have Saints at Panthers. I mean, these are Eastern Seaboard games. At least make it like I don't know, like Chargers Rams and Browns Steelers,
right?
Something like that. But anyways, we'll go back to Thursday night football for a moment, guys. Vikings visiting the Eagles. Vikings coming off a disappointing loss. Kirk Cousins, too many turnovers. Baker Mayfield roars back, wins the game for the Buccaneers in Minnesota. The Eagles squeak out a win against the Patriots, who showed a lot of fight. I mean, are the Eagles as good as we think they are? The Vikings, are they going to have regression after last season?
So my first thought when I looked at this matchup was that this matchup looked a lot better before we saw week 1. Right? This looked like it was going to be a really fun matchup in the preseason, really after the end of last season. You're thinking, oh, Vikings Eagles week 2 Thursday night football primetime is back, baby. Al Michaels is going to be stoked this year.
Yeah,
he might be pissed about
he
this.
might be pissed.
Yeah, I mean, I think this game will be. This is a week 1 reset here. That's what I feel like. I think both these teams were a little lackluster out of the gate. I think they're both better than what they showed in week 1. And I think this will be a good game. This will be a good matchup. And this may be the best Thursday night game after that Chargers-Chiefs game of last season.
Yeah. I'm obviously leaning hard in the favor of the Philadelphia Eagles in this one.
Same, Rich.
But yeah, we'll move on to Sunday Night Football. Patriots hosting the Dolphins. Dolphins, just a nail biter of a win against the Chargers in Los Angeles. Patriots, we just mentioned it. They roared all the way back from a 16-point deficit to make it a ball game against the Eagles, but they lost at home. So they're hosting their second straight opponent in Foxborough. They're not going to have Tom Brady Day at Foxborough. So the crowd's not going to be into it or as into it if they fall behind 16-2 on the Dolphins. What's the feel here?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Rich, but the Dolphins have kind of been Bill Belichick's thorn in his side along with the Saints.
Yeah.
Like, those are the 2 teams that have had the most success against him.
Colts probably.
With
maybe.
Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
Right.
Man,
But I know the Saints for a long
Jets
time.
for a little bit, but yeah, the Saints with Sean Payton. The Dolphins are up there, though, man. That's a tricky team, especially earlier in the season. Going down to South Beach, they get to host them in Foxborough this time around.
And you have Tua, who, as of today, after week 1, is the front runner for MVP in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So Tua Tagovailoa with an excellent week 1 performance with that trio of weapons he has on the offensive side of the football. That's going to be a hell of a game, man. What can Belichick do to scheme out Tyreek Hill? Yeah, that's what he tries to do, is take away your number 1 weapon. I don't know that there is any scheming out Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Fletch. The Dolphins, though, week 1, they look like they're playing at about 10,000 RPMs, man, redlining the whole time. If they play that way again, I don't know how the Patriots keep up with them.
Yeah, I agree with that, Travis. The reality of the situation for the Patriots is you've got to basically play coverage and try to get a pass rush with your guys up front. If you don't, you're doomed. You got to be able to drop 7 or 8 players on every single play.
Meaning you have to get to the quarterback with 3 or 4?
Yep. I mean, that's your only choice. A lot of line stunts, I'm guessing. Maybe you can do one add-on blitzer if like a back stays into block.
But even if you do the double coverage thing on Tyreek Hill, right, where you play like a zone, but you have one below and one above him at all times, and they just follow him, that leaves Jalen Waddle open to wreck you.
True, but you don't care if Tua compiles stats. You care if they score. So what I would do is play a lot of deep zone defense, let them get all the underneath stuff, take the lid off the defense a little bit.
It's what teams did to Mahomes in like year 3.
And then when it compresses and you get into the red zone, that's when you stiffen your back a little bit. Okay, we continue on with our week 2 breakdown coming up next. Also, we cover the 4 corners of the map. It's a Tuesday. 4 corners coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's hour number 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update is presented by the Jim Petrell Real Estate Team. We'll begin here with Monday Night Football, where the Jets beat the Bills 22-16. It was a walk-off punt in overtime, punt return in overtime. But the story of the night was that 4 plays into the game, Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury and was carted to the locker room. Early speculation from the Jets is that Rodgers ruptured his Achilles tendon. He will miss the rest of the season. Confirmation on that expected later today. We'll also sit down with Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, to talk about his diagnosis. Elsewhere in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, after a week 1 loss to the Lions, the Chiefs have now signed defensive tackle Chris Jones to a 1-year deal. His holdout is officially over. And the Padres, they played one of their better games of the season last night. They take down the Dodgers 11-8. Late inning heroics from Juan Soto, a pair of homers from Manny Machado in the game. Unfortunately, this game just doesn't mean much. There are just 17 games left in the year. Padres still 8 games out of the playoff race. Dennis Lynn putting on Twitter last night that Manny Machado may need to have surgery, but as of right now, he's still playing every game. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell has the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
Wow. Wow. It was echoey.
Yeah,
but
really,
I liked it.
it's yeah. I mean, it really, the voice does just careen off of every corner of this room now, because we have this giant vinyl sheet with all these logos written. We got the San Diego Sports 760 logo, the Aztecs logo, the iHeart logo. That's okay.
I had the volume up. That's why it was.
I did make sure the first hour to go check us out on the free iHeart Radio app. You just type in San Diego Sports 760. It didn't sound bad there.
Okay.
In fact, crystal clear.
Yeah, it sounds fine in my headphones.
It's fine, guys.
It's good.
It just it is a culture shock after like 6.5 years of walking into the studio every day and talking to people. Walking in now, it sounds different.
Also, well, it's not as dead. Like there is definitely an echo.
Travis, you worked as an electrician for a while,
yes,
right? So you spent a lot of time on ladders, I'm sure, in ceilings, near ceilings, hanging light fixtures,
eating tuna fish sandwiches.
I'm not gonna
still do that today.
I don't even know what company it is, so I can't out what company put up the vinyl sheeting with all the logos here in studio. But the 2 gentlemen who are tasked with this effort, they went up there and they spent about 40 minutes on the ladders just looking at stuff, right? And then you and I watched as they walked in, again with another ladder, started hanging it, and they were just pounding staples into this thing going across the entire room.
Well, I can only imagine it was, how are we going to hang this thing? And then there's nothing to hang it to. I guess let's just staple it to the wall.
They used 1,000 staples. I mean, there's a staple every 4 inches. And it's
a beautiful backdrop.
We got a beautiful, you know what? And I'm glad they ironed it. It's nice and it's not wrinkly.
Listen, we have to steam it out later.
Yeah. That'll be on us. That's on you, Ben.
No, that's on Jim Russell.
That's on you, Jim. And thanks for letting me use your camera.
I mean, who on this station is most likely to have a steam iron?
Oh, yeah. It's Jim Russell.
Yeah. Or Darren, maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like Darren probably wears suits. You wear the most suits.
You guys don't have steamers?
Oh, yeah. You have a steamer?
Yeah.
Then bring it in.
I got a steamer. I got an iron
flamethrower.
Yeah.
Oh,
kind of.
Oh, I have the flamethrowers in the car. Should I bring those in right now?
No, stop leaving the studio in the middle of the longest segment.
Wait a second. But hear me out here. If I get them, then you guys will have them.
That is true.
And we won't be able to do anything with them until
that's true.
The commercial
we have propane
break.
There
are.
Yeah.
No.
Sound like we could use them.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Rich, you're bad.
I'm so excited for the flamethrowers. I'm so excited to see the joy on your faces. So for anybody who missed it, it was our first anniversary on the 1st of this month. We made it a year. It's a big accomplishment for us. And as a gift, I bought Ben and Travis flamethrowers. I have a flamethrower. It's propane, and it throws a flame probably 8 to 10 feet. I have to like click a little sparker in front of the
igniter.
Yeah, the igniter. To get it going. You guys have the automatic start. So you have a push button igniter.
That's awesome. I cannot tell you,
Warms
Rich,
my heart.
how many people have reached out to me since the first time we debuted the flamethrower, which was, remember, right outside Frankie V's studio.
Oh yeah,
we torched a tri-tip. I know for a fact more than 3 people have purchased flamethrowers off of Amazon since that day because of that day.
Good.
there is no company really in particular that kind of dominates the flamethrower market, but if there was, if you're listening right now, I am the biggest supporter of what you do, and I will be the greatest endorser of your product. Like, some people use them to, like, I don't know, like melt ice off their driveway. Some people use them to kill weeds. You know what I use my flamethrower for? To grill a tri-tip during a radio show in the parking lot of our station.
So what is the actual use for them? Is it to heat up pipe and bend it?
Yeah, well, a flamethrower like that, honestly, this is the exact usage that I've seen the most online, because I've researched flamethrowers for a long time before we
can we
purchased
guess?
one. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, back and forth, Trav. We're guessing. My first guess is to dilute heavy presence of flies on porches in the Midwest.
No, that is a bonkers idea.
The only reason I know is because when I was growing up, my cousin Brandon would take a lighter with WD-40 and spray down all the flies on his front lawn.
Oh wow! Well, your friend, was it your friend? Or
my cousin Brandon.
Your cousin Brandon.
He's only like half serial killer.
Yeah. I was gonna say, don't be left alone with him anymore. I mean. What's your best guess?
I think the best guess on why that flamethrower was created is because they thought some idiot will buy this.
Yeah,
so they just made it.
Well, the purpose and that may be true. The purpose that I've seen most used is for when you own a giant, like for example, Snapdragon Stadium. They'll pour parking lots eventually. The concrete will crack. Weeds will grow up through the concrete. You go through the cracks in the concrete and you just blast all the weeds. They all die.
JD Wicker, if you need a guy, you got 3.
So anyways, those are going to be coming in studio sometime today. Cannot wait to give them to you. We made it a year. All right. We were talking about week 2, a quick look ahead at the NFL season. We haven't gotten to the Monday night double header though. So it kicks off first with Saints Panthers, and then we go to Browns Steelers. Saints, they're rolling off a pretty impressive win against a Tennessee Titans team that they hosted last week. Panthers, Bryce Young looked good, but a loss. Who do you like in this one? Again, Carolina hosting the Saints in this one.
I almost have to go Saints just because of the experience of Derek Carr. I thought he looked okay. And now we don't know about Chris Olave's health yet, right? He got kind of banged up in that one. I believe he's officially listed as questionable in the fantasy apps. But Michael Thomas didn't do a whole lot. Chris Olave looked really good when he was on the field. Derek Carr looked impressive. Now, when do they get Alvin Kamara back? Is that after week 4?
Yeah, he's suspended 4 weeks, so week 5 he'll be back. Yeah,
week 5 he'll be back. I think I got to go Saints.
Yeah, I mean, I Fletch, Rich, I'm Saints all day on this. I think the Saints are a far better team. I think Derek Carr looked good. I mean, he looked definitely good enough, and I think they're going to roll the Panthers in this, in my opinion.
2 things real quick. I didn't see the Olave injury. I don't think he got hurt in that game, but
he limped off the field in the 3rd quarter.
Okay.
I don't know how serious it was. I don't even know that it was anything, but it was just mentioned in those little blurbs in the Yahoo stuff.
Okay. And then in terms of the Panthers, look, overall, I think it was a decent outing for Bryce Young. I think that in general, it's going to be a rougher season for the Carolina Panthers, and especially when they play against teams with a good pass rush, a good defense, and the Saints have both.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a one of those welcome to the NFL moments in my eyes for Bryce Young and this Carolina offense. They're going to take some runs. I got the Saints in this one.
And Rich, Bryce Young still looks tiny.
Oh, yeah.
Like in week 1, he looked tiny behind his offensive line, who is an average offensive line. He's just a lot smaller than most quarterbacks.
Yeah, right now, Saints favored by 3 in this game on the road.
That's what I was going to ask you, Rich. So 3 points on the road. What's the over-under?
The total
40 and a half. That's what I'm looking at.
That looks right. Yeah. Not a lot of
that
high expectations for the offense in this game.
Golly.
The other
that
matchup
sounds right though, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it's not a total you see very often anymore. Like 5 years ago, that was a pretty common total in the NFL. But since the Patrick Mahomes era and everything has exploded offensively, you just don't see 40-point totals all that often.
And then you look at the other matchup, Steelers hosting the Browns. Browns, of course, coming off the win where Joe Burrow for the Cincinnati Bengals looked just confounded by the Browns defense. Deshaun Watson looked better than he did at the end of last season. Steelers, they get trounced at home by the San Francisco 49ers. So a quick reset for them, or I should say a long reset for them because they get the extra day to prepare. Mike Tomlin, is he going to have the guys ready to go against a divisional opponent? They are dogged by 2.5 at home.
This is the ultimate, are the Steelers really that bad game, right? Because I think they had a lot of hype behind them going into the season, especially Kenny Pickett after the offseason and preseason where people were hyping him up like crazy. They were terrible against the 49ers outside of TJ Watt. Kenny Pickett was terrible against the 49ers. This is the ultimate overreaction week 1. Are they really that bad? I think the Steelers bounce back.
Fletch, though, pop quiz. What did Kenny Pickett and the Steelers struggle with the most against that Niners defense? What did they do the worst job of?
Protecting the quarterback.
Exactly. And when you look at Myles Garrett and this Browns defense, what did they do really well?
Get after the quarterback.
So I'm thinking that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have a problem with the Browns.
Not to really pat the Niners on their own back like I'm going to right now, but they have like 3 dudes on that defensive line who are dogs and get after the quarterback. The Browns might have it too. I didn't watch that game super closely, but I know for sure they have Myles Garrett. I don't know what they have outside of Myles Garrett.
Well, I mean, when you have a special player like a Myles Garrett, like a Nick Bosa, like a TJ Watt, like a Joey Bosa, the amount of attention that you have to pay to that one player, all of a sudden it opens up opportunities for your linebackers, your other rushers on the defensive line, interior rushers, if you're talking about a defensive end. But you're absolutely right. Myles Garrett is the show stealer on that Browns front. But remember, they brought in Z Smith from the Packers in free agency. Zadarius Smith was very active in that game against the Bengals. So it's going to be tough, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers could start off their season 0-2, and Mike Tomlin, who has never, ever turned in a losing season in his coaching career. I said it before the season. I feel like this is the one. I feel like this is the year. We
thought that last year too. Didn't they rip off 6 wins in a row at the end of the season last year?
Super hot
to get back to 500?
Yeah.
Rich, Fletch. Commas matter.
They do.
Oh, is this the Patrick Mahomes thing?
Yes. Commas matter. Patrick Mahomes tweeted out after Aaron Rodgers goes down, hate that man, praying for the best. And then immediately revised, hate that, comma, man, praying for the best.
And he even put out a tweet that was like, I knew I was going to have to use that edit feature one day. Yeah. Dude, the amount of people that immediately got in his comments and quote tweets and everything that had the dude from We're the Millers, you know, the guy with the tattoo, no regrets.
Yeah.
And they said, no regrets, really? Not even one comma?
That tweet cracked me up so much. And then, I love the edit button too, because I'm not a smart man.
Right.
I have to use that edit button probably once every 3 tweets. So
sometimes there's some fast fingers.
Yeah. And I've got really, really chubby thumbs. In fact, that was my high school nickname, Chubby Thumbs Hornberger.
Now, is there any chance in the world
chubbiest thumbs
that this was calculated from Mahomes?
Yearbook super.
Yeah, you think this was calculated?
Is there any chance it was? Because don't you see a world where someone's like, oh, if I tweet this out, it's going to go mega viral, and I have the immediate I didn't mean it.
Well, a lot of things he says go viral. Like even when he just writes thing like, let's go Chiefs Nation. Like, and then all of a sudden it's got 1 million retweets. Like, I don't think he's really all that worried about it. And he also, he appears to me to be one of those guys who like social media is not really, he's doing it because he probably has a marketing agent who goes, hey, could you just tweet just once every 3 days? Could you just please, Patrick? Just so people know you're alive when you're not on the field also.
But Rich, Fletch is saying that this is scripted.
Oh, that's where you're going.
Yeah. Like, is there any chance that social media person who's telling him to tweet every 3 days?
I
don't really think so either.
Anyway.
But there is a world where it would make sense for him to do that because it will go mega viral.
Fletch, this was never even in my mind, had never crossed my mind until you're trying to plant the seed here.
And now it's making a little more sense.
Now I'm like, yep, you're probably right.
All right, we're in. What do you guys think? Should we go kidnap him or?
Yep.
I think that
I'll bring the flamethrower.
Yeah, I'll get the flamethrowers. You guys stay here. I'm gonna leave the show for a quick second. All right. We got to get to this next story. It's a really important one.
It is.
Because look, I think if there's one thing the three of us like are tips, DIY stuff, right?
There's a P. It's a P in that.
Oh, tips. Yeah. TIPS. Like, good tips.
Rich, there's no one who makes me hold my breath more than you.
No, dude.
When you're introducing a risky segment.
It's going to be fine.
But go ahead. Let it rip.
So there's a lady who's running for Congress. It was in Florida. It has to be Florida. Or is it Virginia?
It's Virginia.
Oh, it's Virginia. Okay.
Yeah, meet Virginia.
Okay. She's running for Congress, and she it's been exposed that she has been giving tips, TIPS, online.
Maybe other letters in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Those two. On a website called, what is it? Chatterbait?
I don't know.
Like Chatterbait.
Okay, Chatterbait.
I don't think we could say that.
We're not allowed?
Wait,
I
what?
don't know.
Yeah,
We're
I
getting,
think we,
this
no,
is-
no, no.
It's in
hang
the
on.
article, New York Times.
Dude, this is in the Times. Listen, so what she did with her husband on a live streaming webcam is give sex tips for all of us to enjoy, for all of us to learn from, I should say. And now she's running for Congress. So I'm just gonna say this. She has my vote.
She's after the release of these videos or the leak that she, as I use air quotes, just in the same manner, I guess Patrick Mahomes is tweeting purposely.
Yeah.
The leak of these, she has now outraised her opponent there in Virginia.
Here's my question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How in 2023?
Yeah.
How in 2023?
Yes.
Is this legal? How is it
what do you
legal
mean, is it legal?
to raise campaign funds?
No. She's not raising them by releasing them. It's just the same manner that maybe a certain volleyball team pictures were released and now people showed up.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, so
all of a sudden there were a lot of Badgers fans.
All of a sudden Kim Kardashian is a billionaire.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So now all of a sudden people go, you know what? I mean, I like her stance on things.
I definitely do. Look, here's my point. I think that America is a country where we get to practice great freedoms. And one of them is to go online in the dead of the evening and film yourself with a loved one, showing the world how to do certain things.
Rich, call me crazy. I have an idea for our show to start making more money.
Is it feet again?
No, Rich is going to have to start having sex on camera.
Done.
Wait. With us?
Not with us.
America.
Are we just going to leak the photos?
Well, it worked for Kim Kardashian. It's working for this senator.
Yeah.
That is such a weird sentence.
Look, I honestly, I think this is a good sign that the world's coming to an end. I think we are nearing the end times and we are just riding the spiral the whole way down.
Could you imagine like our forefathers sitting there writing the Constitution, thinking that one day somebody who sits where they sit, somebody who does what they do, is going to be getting there by having sex on camera?
But hang on. This is to me the representative of the whole. of the whole of the United States, or of the great, the vastness of this country means that there are people out there who do participate in things like this online, and they need representation too. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they need representation. Trying to figure out how to work in taxation.
Yeah. That
don't know.
Tax that ass. Anyways, look, here's the point. Speaking of taxes, Chris Jones is going to have to pay a lot more in taxes coming up very soon.
Yeah. He's back.
He signed a 1-year deal. I didn't see the details on the deal.
It's super incentive laden. So his base salary is the same as it would have been, except now he can earn a lot more. This is all Shefty. I actually don't know if the specific details have come out yet, but Shefty said it's a ton of incentives. Rich, there's a request on the text line for you to do a Brent Sperry impersonation while doing play-by-play of the Aaron Rodgers Achilles.
Okay, here it is.
He sucks.
Nailed it.
That was so spot on. It's like we played the tape.
You ever hear
Wow.
Brett really lose it?
Oh, he hates Aaron Rodgers more than anyone in the world.
When he sees his face, his the face he makes when Aaron Rodgers pops up on the TV. So Brent, he grew up in Wisconsin, a Bears fan.
And a Cubs fan.
I mean, just bonkers. So I think his whole family hates him. The poor guy, like he hated Aaron Rodgers with every inch of his soul. This is the morning show or afternoon show producer, Brent Sperry. So he sits there, and anytime his face, Aaron Rodgers' face, pops up on the screen, he grimaces as if he's eating like something distasteful, like he's taking medicine. He's just like, oh, there he is again. Anyways, so Chris Jones and the Chiefs get it done. I think this is a knee-jerk reaction to what happened on Thursday night in the opener.
Oh, yeah. It's Clark Hunt saying, wow, our team's bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We need Travis Kelce back. We need Chris Jones back.
And I think they need a receiver.
Travis Kelce is a receiver.
Someone other than Travis Kelce.
Oh,
That's all I'm saying.
Wait, how about a little playmaker named Kadarius Toney? Ever hear of him?
He's not going to be as bad as he was in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He might get hurt.
How about an unknown draft pick out of Western Michigan from a year ago in the 3rd round named Sky Moore?
Dude, I tell you, the receiver that looked really good for the Chiefs is the rookie this year, Rasheed Rice.
Rasheed Rice looked good.
Yeah.
They just stopped going to him in the second half.
I
It
think
was a
he's
little
covered.
confusing.
There was no one else.
Yeah. They started taking it away. This is this is going to be one of those seasons where on paper we looked at it and we're like, well, the Chiefs aren't going to lose very many games. But if they lose games that they're supposed to win,
they might have the game of the week this week, by the way. Chiefs Jags in Jacksonville, playoff rematch. Remember, Trevor Lawrence almost won that game in the postseason last year.
Yeah, Jags just beat the Colts to start their season. So this is a biggie.
Calvin Ridley looks great.
He does.
Like, he missed all of last season because of the gambling stuff. He looked fantastic with Trevor Lawrence.
The 913 is asking on the text line if we'll be doing a darkness retreat in honor of the Aaron Rodgers Achilles injury. And
It'd
I
be
think
harder to do now.
yeah. Nah, what the lights would still turn off.
Oh,
We'll get
right.
it dark in here.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if
It's
this white
so
banner's up.
reflective.
It'd be
No,
fine.
no.
But it might be a way that we can center ourselves and actually heal Aaron Rodgers.
What we do is we take ayahuasca on the air. I think that's probably. We'll get a shaman.
Yeah, I'm out.
We'll drink some. No, come on, Ben.
What? No,
you did the
Rich
999 challenge.
Rich would go insane if he took ayahuasca. So would I. So would Travis. But Rich, you might like go crazy and start punching people.
All right, we'll do that next.
And then I'm going to run for Congress. All right, coming up next, we are going to span the globe. We cover the 4 corners of the map to bring you the best stories from this country and this world. And that's what we're doing. Coming up next on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
We travel the globe to find you all the stories you didn't know you needed to know. It's Four Corners coming up next.
$7:30 on Big Rich, TD and Fletch. This update presented by SaveOurWater.com. Starting off here with Monday Night Football. Jets beat the Bills 22-16. It was a walk-off punt return in overtime. Bad news for Aaron Rodgers, though. 4 plays into the game, he suffered an injury, ended up having to be carted to the locker room. Early speculation from Jets head coach Robert Saleh is that it was an Achilles tear, and he will miss the rest of the season. Confirmation pending. Elsewhere in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, after a Week 1 loss, they give defensive tackle Chris Jones the keys to a 1-year deal, and his holdout is now over. Padres played one of their best games of the season last night. They beat the Dodgers 11-8. Late inning heroics from Juan Soto, a pair of homers in the game from Manny Machado. Unfortunately, it doesn't do much for him. 17 games left in the year. Padres still 8 games out of a playoff spot, and it sounds like Manny Machado is heading for an off-season surgery. Water, all of our life depends on it. So for the love of water, California, everyone has a part to play when it comes to reducing water waste. Let's make conservation a way of life. Find ways to conserve at SaveOurWater.com.
You want me to read another one of these? Big Rich, TD and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, and we want you to join us and the San Diego Blood Bank in saving lives by donating blood at the iHeartRadio Blood Drive. It's happening this Friday, September 15th from 8 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon at our studios right here located at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Your donation can help patients with cancer, severe burns, trauma, childbirth complications, and more. And one donation could save up to 3 lives. All types are needed. All donors will get a pair of free admission to the Del Mar Racetrack Fall Meet or the Fleet Science Center. That's while supplies last. Make your appointment at san diego bloodbank.org today.
Okay, so earlier in the show, Ben Fletcher, our very own, he and Kendall, his lovely wife, are looking at adopting a pup. little puppers, some sort of mixed breed Labrador. It looks like
It's got a lot of different things in it.
it's a blondie. It's a cute dog.
It's gonna stay real tiny.
Is it really?
That's what they think.
It
Like a
doesn't
miniature?
look like
No,
it.
it doesn't. But they think that it's gonna stay like around 10 pounds.
I think they're just. How much does it weigh right now? 11 pounds?
No, it's tiny, dude. That dog is so small.
I feel like if you told them like, yeah, we live in an apartment, not a lot of space. They're like, well, this is gonna stay real small. But if
Rich.
you're like,
Rich and I are on the same page.
you know what? We got like just a vast we've got like acreage. Then we're gonna be like, well, you're gonna love this big dog,
Yeah, so
big breed.
That's a great day.
But Kendall and I have been fighting about clothing on dogs, and the text line has weighed in. And
Okay.
I feel like mostly guys listen to this show, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, a solid amount. Although,
Sheena.
yeah, no, we've got a lot of women listeners.
Maria.
Yeah,
This is the first show that I've ever
Wet Deb.
been a part of.
Wet Deb. She's out there.
She's out there showering with us.
Sales
It's
lady
true.
Aaron.
Oh, yeah.
Who else? Carolyn, the Queen of the
Oh my
North.
God, we have
Carolyn
so many
Blanca?
women.
You know what? We are a very diverse
Yeah.
show. However,
Come on.
the text line seems like it's full of
Maureen?
girls this morning. 619, mostly a no on clothes for dogs, but a dog wearing a bandana gets me every single time.
Yeah, my dogs always have a bandana on.
Wait a second. Travis, hang on. I haven't been to your house yet, which is, I mean, it's a massive oversight that we haven't all gone to each other places yet. We've known each
Seriously.
other a full year.
Y'all
all
been to
working
my
together.
parking lot?
Yeah,
We have been to your parking lot. And we ate tacos in that parking lot while Travis
bonded.
worked on your car. Just sat
Broke
there.
your car apparently.
Well, Travis broke your car.
Yeah.
Correction. But yeah, we should do that sometime very soon because I want to meet your dogs. You own, what is it? A Schnauzer? What is it again?
I have a golden doodle named Hunter, and I have a Morky Poo named Wilson.
Full stop. What the hell's a Morky Poo?
Maltese Yorkie Poodle.
Morky. Wait, say it again. Maltese Yorkie Poodle.
That's correct.
It's a Morky Poo. What's that one's name?
Wilson.
Who named these animals?
Hunter was already named. He was a rescue.
Yeah.
We just kept his name. He was a couple years old when we got him, and I
Yeah,
felt like
We really had to clean him up. He
Yeah.
had some issues with a laptop.
that's right.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
A lot of unseemly videos. Anyways,
Yeah.
look, the point is Hunter's doing better now.
You do what much better, much better.
That's the golden
Wilson,
doodle.
yeah, that's the golden doodle.
Gotta watch
Wilson,
out for them.
I feel like I named Wilson.
You
I
did.
threw out the name, and everybody said that's a great name.
I want a dog. I want a dog and I want to name it the color that it is. So like we like
Brown.
yeah. This is my dog Brown. But Anne hates all my ideas about dogs. So she bought our dog. We have an 8-pound Italian Greyhound named Lady who's now lost her eyesight and all of her teeth. She is.
Did you name your dog after gender, Rich?
Yeah. This is Dog Lady. Her tongue hangs out. She is like a horrific little gremlin now, but I like her better now that she's ugly. Me too. Like that's too pretty of a dog for me to. But now people go look at her and they're just like, "Ugh."
So this from the 408. I was a hard no on dog clothing, but then my wife got my Pitbull 49er shirt last season, and it's what she ended up wearing every Sunday sitting by my side. I then purchased the yellow raincoat for her. It all starts with one piece of clothing, always.
Wait,
Go
okay.
Niners, baby.
Hang on. So you're a huge Niners fan. I know Niners jerseys or leashes or collars are going to get involved. I missed the train of the story though. Did he buy the jersey for his wife
No,
or for the dog?
his wife bought the Niners jersey for the dog,
Got it.
and now he has gone and purchased the yellow raincoat for the dog because it starts with one and then it's a trickle down.
So I did that as well. My dog does not like to pee in the rain. Got him a raincoat. He was not hip on that either.
Yeah.
So now I go out there with an umbrella.
So we got an umbrella hat. You got an umbrella hat.
And you fetch for this dog, right?
No, that was Duke. He's
R.I.P.
long since passed. Yeah, Duke took my legs out and broke my tailbone. It's fine. The 858 says depends on the dog. Small dogs, when it's cold, need the clothes. They're cold, and I'm telling you, once my dog put a sweatshirt on, one, he looks super cool in an Adidas sweatshirt, and two, he likes it. No more shivers.
Father, could you fetch my sweater? I want to go out and play fetch with you.
Four corners.
Yeah, four corners. Cover the four corners of the globe. Bring you the best stories of the day. Okay, who wants to go first? What you?
Yeah. So there's a literal space mark or a question mark out in space.
Yes.
right now. Have you guys seen this? The James
Yes.
Webb Telescope, which is like the most advanced telescope we have, super far out in the galaxies and stuff.
Yeah.
There is an actual question mark.
What?
Click the link.
Well, it's a collection of stars.
into
I'm sorry,
that.
go ahead. Go ahead, Fletch. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on it. I thought
So-
you were done.
The internet went crazy when the latest James Webb Telescope footage came out, and basically you could see a bunch of different galaxies here.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's a question mark.
Dude, yeah.
So people thought aliens were just toying with us and they're putting stuff out in space like in our language, but it turns out it's actually two galaxies colliding.
Oh, they're like spiraling around
Right.
each other.
So it's pretty
Got
much the
it.
exact. They say if you would have looked at the Milky Way back when it was forming, it would have looked exactly like that.
The Milky Way, way back. All right. Yeah. Listen. The telescope. I'm convinced that there is intelligent life somewhere out there, and I feel like we are getting closer and closer to figuring this out every day. We'll get to that another time. How about this? After the shocking victory, Colorado over TCU, Coach Prime and the Buffaloes broke the books. Oh, yeah. This is a windfall for public bettors that Vegas hasn't seen in years, maybe ever in certain cases. They're not going to be able to win back what they lost in the football season with that one single hit they took with all the public money that flowed in on Colorado. Because, okay, just to rewind back to week 0 of the college football season, was that week 0 or was it week 1? I think it was week 1. Yeah, you're right. Week 1, TCU hosting Colorado. It was a 21.5 point dog. Colorado was on the road, and they won.
And a
Crazy.
lot of money came in on them. Speaking of Vegas and breaking things like Deion Sanders did you guys see yesterday somebody hacked all the MGM hotel slot machines?
No.
So and it's not
How?
just like the MGM Grand, like MGM owns those hotels.
Yeah.
I don't know. Apparently the people who hacked them are looking for a huge ransom before they release them back to the
Oh,
hotels.
wow. So they didn't hack them and then win a bunch of money. They
No,
hacked them and
hacked
said,
them and turned them off.
okay, that's rough. This is what something else that's rough here. I drove around with a sales guy at one point in my life who had a stack of cups in his car, which I thought was odd. And he would go to a fast food restaurant, find the cup for that fast food restaurant, and then just walk in and fill it up.
Dude, what a genius.
Okay, all right. Well, what? Right. McDonald's may be getting rid of the self-serve drink option because of that.
Okay, hang on a second. It was their fault when they went to plastic cups.
Yeah, it was the plastic, like
the big old-
32-ounce
Oh,
cup.
that's 7-Eleven, but you get my deal.
Whatever,
Like,
yeah.
supersize it.
Yeah, supersized.
Dude, what a brilliant move.
Well, and he was like, I'm not stealing it.
I'm not kidding.
I already paid for this.
When I was a kid, I mean, if I had one wish, it would have been free soda for the rest of my life.
If you had one finger, you could have liquid come out of it.
You remember that
It's all on
TikTok?
TikTok.
Yeah.
Go to our TikTok, by the way, Big Rich TD Fletch. In San Diego here, we're not going to talk bad about anybody, but if you're looking for the best NFL content, and frankly the best content on social media, just go to Big Rich TD and Fletch.
We're golfing today, so you know something stupid will be up there.
Yeah.
Also, Travis, we need to get you $400,000 ASAP.
Okay.
Not for you to keep, for you to spend.
What
Because
am I
they
buying?
have found a lost X-Wing.
Fighter.
What do you even call it? No, but what do you,
The movie prop?
the movie prop,
Oh, come on.
and it's being released to an auction. So, yeah,
And they
movie
think it'll
prop.
go for $400,000?
400 grand is,
How
I
big
think,
is
where
that
it's
thing?
starting.
Well, they were probably a few feet. I mean, they were kind of large.
Yeah, because they use models, right?
Yeah,
Because
they would take the cameras on a rail and move them past the
For
models.
most part, the original Star Wars movies were mostly practical effects, right?
Oh yeah. This is 1977.
This is how stupid I am. I was thinking, like, man, I mean, like, I guess you're gonna just move all the cars out of the driveway, have an X-wing in the driveway.
I wish.
Opening bid 400 grand, so you're going to need quite a bit more.
That was just flying to work.
Put it right on my roof.
You got R2D2 in the back.
So this is 1/24th scale miniature, was one of 4 created for filming
1/24.
close-ups in key moments during the famous third act battle in Star Wars Episode 4: New Hope.
Wow.
I mean, I'm in. Wait, 400 grand to start with. I need more than 400 grand.
Yeah, you're probably going to need a couple mil.
Seems like a dumb way to spend a couple million, but I'm in.
Well, that's Four Corners. I think we've done it or outdone ourselves again. That is just one of my favorite things to do. All right. Also, other favorite thing I do is get on the Underdog Fantasy app. As a matter of fact, I'm going to welcome in Ben to chat about what happened to him last night.
So close.
How many yards away from hitting a 5-player pick'em?
I needed 2 more fantasy points for Dalvin Cook, which if that overtime would have happened instead of the punt return for a touchdown, and the Jets got the ball and Dalvin Cook somehow either a catch because it's PPR, either a catch in 10 yards or a 20-yard touchdown run or something, I would have cashed.
So this is the reason why I know this, because when you play Underdog Fantasy, you are more involved in the game than you ever thought you could be. And Ben was texting us constantly. I was like, come on, Dalvin. And then, by the way, I didn't have any underdog picks. That man. I didn't have any underdog picks last night. I'm literally rooting for Ben's players now. It's the most fun. So download the free Underdog app and then sign up with promo code XTRA. Upon sign up, you just put in the deposit, right? $50, $100. If you go up to $100, they'll double it. So $20 turns into 40, $80 turns into 160. You throw in 100, they'll match it. It becomes 200. You have $200 to play with. And this is 100% legal in California. A lot of people asking that question. You could do NFL season-long pick'ems, or you could do the weekly pick'ems like Ben just did. You pick players higher or lower on the stat totals or the amount of touchdowns or the extra points they're going to make or their yardage. Like, it is a blast. So go to underdogfantasy.com or download the Underdog Fantasy app. And when you do, sign up with promo code XTRA, and they will double your first deposit up to $100. One factoid that we failed to speak about on the Monday Nighter coming up next, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. One really good thing, one really, really bad thing for one team on Monday Night Football. We'll get to that next. Sorry, gang. I was just quickly checking out a video of how to traumatize my glutes in the gym. TikTok really gives you a lot of useful tips and pointers in your workouts.
By the way, follow us on TikTok at Big Rich TD Fletch.
Yeah.
You're not going to get like sexy butt videos from us all the time. Sometimes.
All the time. I was going to say, there are a few.
Listen,
but you are going to get fun content.
Travis looks great in yoga pants.
Oh, no. You should see the front view of Rich in a American flag onesie. For some reason, it's zoomed in.
They call that a moose knuckle. America. Anyway,
I don't think that's what they call
Wait,
it.
hold on. Am I really not allowed to say this?
What?
Because Ben,
Yes,
Ben
you are
walked
not
in.
allowed.
Why?
100% not allowed to say that.
Why? Why?
No.
Why?
Wait, whisper it to me. I'm
dude,
going to
there's
turn off my
some
mic.
things that are
Hold on.
on air.
Okay.
There's some things that are off.
Ben walks into the studio here
Yeah,
and says, "This is 100% not for on air," and he said,
No, dude, I do think we could say that.
But what if it's a medical thing? Like, I don't know.
Well, hang on, but we should talk about it. We're very open about a lot of these things. So what Ben is experiencing is what. Okay, hang on. Is what? Okay,
it's like he's already lost 30 pounds.
It does go hand in hand with the diet,
yeah,
which is
literally.
why I brought it up.
It's just hand in hand.
It's like having a good hair day, right?
Yes.
Where there are some days where you wake up. And, you're brushing your teeth, you're brushing your hair, and maybe you slept in the buff the night before.
Right.
And you just take a view, the front view, and you go, wait a second. I
Feel a little bit taller.
I feel like
a little bit lighter.
let's just say,
Mom, I'm so sorry.
I feel a little bit
there's a little
more
bit
Ben today.
There's a little bit more Ben, right? A little more hang time.
Is this why you didn't want Mom to hear about it?
Yeah, my sweet mother listens every day.
She's probably so proud.
No.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Guy's like a grandfather clock. Unbelievable. Pendulous. Anyways, look, here's what we learned last night. Josh Allen has all the ability in the world, but this guy, I question sometimes his football IQ. I think that the downfall of a lot of great talents in terms of dual threat artists at the quarterback position is you rely too much on the improvisation.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was a big problem with Cam Newton. Cam Newton was an incredible athlete, but as soon as his body started to fail him and he had to stay in the pocket more, he was not good.
We also learned a couple things about Cam Newton later on. I think when he joined the Patriots, there were some reports that he doesn't know how to read NFL defenses.
Well, so look, I've heard from many people, and I don't want to speak disparaging of such a great player. And honestly, from most accounts, teammates I'm talking about, guys really like him, a good guy. But yeah, he struggled really understanding defensive concepts. And what he was really good at was throwing it to the route he was supposed to or improvising.
Like read one.
Yeah.
And so I do know that last night watching that game, there was a couple times I thought, oh, Josh Allen isn't really understanding what the Jets are doing. And now the Jets do a lot of different, they hide their defenses at the line of scrimmage, and then they change stuff, whether it's stunts, whatever. But Josh Allen at times last night looked so uncomfortable that I questioned, does this guy really know what he's looking at?
Wow. I mean, maybe there was some of that. I picked up, Fletch, that he was just making terrible throws. And it wasn't until the end of that game, literally the last drive that sent it to overtime, that Stephon Diggs went and said, I will come back to the ball every time. Throw it to me every time. And that's what they did.
It was, look, there were open routes. My problem with what I watched last night wasn't necessarily that the Jets were doing things that would confound him necessarily. It was more like he was forcing the football to routes you don't throw to against certain coverages, and he should know that. Like, it's very simple when you distill it down to, hey, throw it to the open guy. Like, there are certain coverages where you know immediately who's going to be open on a route concept. Like, and when the ball snapped, like it unveils itself to you. You're, as a quarterback, it's more difficult because you're looking through traffic. But when you've been doing it for a handful of years at this level, you should know. So look, the good news is he's abundantly talented for the Buffalo Bills. But the bad news is he's still making these mistakes that, I mean, they're like rookie mistakes.
He looks more like rookie Josh Allen than he looks like year 3 Josh Allen, which was the best Josh Allen. Power rankings are out for the first time this year.
Okay, man. We'll get to some NFL power rankings on the other side.
I disagree wholeheartedly with that.
Dr. David,
we know who's not number one.
Dr. David Chow, Pro Football Doc, coming on to talk about the Rodgers Achilles situation. And also we'll be joined by Jets analyst Eric Coleman, former NFL player, on the other side as well. It's Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Hour number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by SaveOurWater.com. Starting off here with Monday Night Football. Jets beat the Bills 22-16 last night with a walk-off punt return touchdown in overtime. But the story of the night is that 4 plays into the game, Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury. He was carted off to the locker room. Early speculation from the Jets is that Rodgers actually ruptured his Achilles tendon and will miss the rest of the season. Confirmation expected later today. We will catch up with Pro Football Doc Dr. David Chow coming up in this segment to talk about it. Elsewhere in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, after a Week 1 loss to the Lions, they've gone out and re-signed defensive tackle Chris Jones to a 1-year deal. His holdout officially over. Padres played one of their best games of the season last night. They take down the Dodgers 11-8. Late inning heroics from Juan Soto, a pair of home runs from Manny Machado. Unfortunately, this game doesn't really tick the meter. There are just 17 games left in the year. Padres still 8 games out of a playoff spot. Water, all of life depends on it. So for the love of water, California, everyone has a part to play when it comes to reducing water waste. Let's make conservation a way of life. Find ways to conserve at SaveOurWater.com.
Start off easy. Start with the obvious.
This is Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Those goofy bastards are just about the best thing I've got going in this crazy world.
Makes you proud to be an American.
On San Diego Sports 760. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. How did the Aaron Rodgers debut go?
Now Rodgers sits down. He's coming out of the game. Gibson on the return. Near side. I don't see any flag. Gibson inside the 30. Hits the Jets. And he's gonna go. Jets win it. Touchdown. Rookie Xavier Gibson. Game over.
Plus, could the guys pull out a win up in the ravine?
Soto hits it in the air to right field, sending Betts back at the wall. That ball is gone.
Time to break it all down. Now, here are the guys.
Good morning and happy Tuesday. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. And we just got breaking news, a little distracted here as we start the 8 o'clock hour. Aaron Rodgers officially announced it is a complete rupture of the Achilles tendon of the left leg. So
It's over.
Aaron Rodgers' season is over.
Wow. That storyline scratched from the NFL, Rich. I mean, it's a bummer. I was actually bummed out when it happened because I thought this was going to be cool, man. We're going to see this possible rising of this Jets team and this resurgence of a team that they have spent so much money on, that they've worked on building, and now it's just done.
Poor Jason McIntyre.
Oh, we should call him.
Diehard Jets fan. He's going to be on the airwaves starting at 9 o'clock today with Colin Cowherd. Like, is he just going to be crying the whole show?
My guess is yes. I do think he's going to. No, look, I think Jets fans are used to this. I think if you're a Jets fan, you're used to the trauma of being a Jets fan.
What was Joe Buck was talking about it on the show? It was in the 80s, maybe the 90s. Testaverde was the quarterback. They go to an AFC championship game, lose in terrible fashion, then comes back the next season. Game 1, pops his leg.
Yeah. It's look, it's a real thing. There are certain franchises that are snake bit.
San Diego Padres.
There is a fan base here that has experienced the same exact thing. And for years, Chargers fans. I mean, still, if you are a Chargers fan living in San Diego or in Los Angeles, you are going through the struggle of being a Chargers fan. It's brutal. I mean, there are certain franchises that they just appear to be cursed. I mean, think about the World Series winning Chicago Cubs of whatever it was.
108 years.
It must have been, 1908. They won the World Series. They're like, we're going to do this again a lot. And then it took them 100 and something years to do it again.
Or like, think about like the San Diego Padres fan base is a perfect example. In their division is a team called the San Francisco Giants, who none of the years they won 3 World Series in 5 years were supposed to even be competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. So things happen, right? And sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better, but certain franchises, it does feel like when it rains, it pours. Speaking of which, I mean, just a quick detour before we get to Dr. David Chow, who's going to join us, Pro Football Doc. Nobody's a better, stronger voice on injuries based off of video footage than Doc Dave Chow.
I can't wait to hear what he has to say about like the future of Aaron Rodgers' career.
Yeah.
Right.
Like we could have
40.
seen his last play could have been that last night.
This is the reason why it's typically like 20, 25-year-olds, 29-year-olds running around playing quarterback. 40-year-olds are not built for this. I mean, It's just too violent of a game football.
I mean, I get out of bed and I've got back problems. Yeah.
And you and Aaron Rodgers are pretty close in age.
Yeah, and almost the same, like in trajectory of our careers.
No kidding. 100% agree with that. But also, like, Travis, as you, like, because I'm nearing 40, I'm 38, I think.
I think you're 37.
Am I 37?
I think so. It's weird if I know it and you
I
don't.
was born in 86. It's 23. So I am.
I think you're 37.
Damn it.
I remember 1986.
But okay, so
hang on, I'm Googling it. Rich Orberger is 37 years old.
So
And the
Wikipedia
picture
says?
of Rich Orberger is hilarious because you have really short hair and you're really fat.
where is it?
It's just on Google. If you type
Hang
your
on,
name
hang
in,
on,
Rich
hang on.
Orberger.
Hang on, really short hair, really fat. That's most of my pictures, though. I'm just gonna say.
Type in Travis Dale in Google.
Burger. There you go. Yeah, I my neck is wider than my face.
Your
Look at
neck
this.
is bigger than Travis's neck.
Look at
Wow.
this.
Oh wow.
My neck is actually wider than my face.
look
Boy,
like
you
you
look
didn't
like you're on
know-
steroids.
You didn't know there was going to be a picture taken. Like,
Yeah. Although-
it's like you walked in and you went, "What am I looking at?"
That was team picture day.
Okay, good.
So I was fully aware there was a camera on a tripod. So just really photogenic, I guess, gang.
What's weird is you are now,
Well,
but there's like not many good pictures of you in your playing days.
no, not really. Not really one.
Your glow up was insane.
Yeah. I really I was like the nerdy girl in all those teen movies from
You
like
just
the
had
early
to take
2000s.
your glasses off.
Yeah, I just needed to put down the paintbrush and ditch the easel and take my glasses off and my paint covered overalls. And all of a sudden you put a dress on me. Wow, now that is somebody you'll take to the prom.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
At
Look
your
at this guy.
athletic prime
Yeah.
was
Go ahead.
also your ugliest you've ever been in your life.
Thank you. Yes.
Like Google Ben Fletcher.
Yeah, let's Google Ben. But there's just all these pictures of like a number 15 jersey with the back to the camera.
Let's see.
Wait, there was a famous Ben Fletcher. No offense.
Yeah.
you,
Benjamin Harrison Fletcher was an early 20th century African American labor leader and public speaker.
Dude,
How about that?
How about
You
that?
hear that?
Wow.
Did you know that?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
Huh.
you share a name. I promise you there's no other Rich Ornbergers who made history.
Huh.
That is a
I'm
guarantee.
looking for Ben Fletcher at all here.
You got to put in like Merced or
Let me
San
just look
Diego.
up images. Yep.
Nope,
no
it's
number
all
15.
African American labor
Yeah,
leaders.
leaders.
That's about it. No
Good
Ben
times.
Fletcher.
Good times. It happens.
Monday Night Football was.
If you type in Ben Fletcher San Diego, stuff pops up.
Hang on. Now we got to do this. I can't believe we got to Google Ben.
Oh,
to
there
make
you
him
are.
Wait, let's
Some
see.
handsome photos.
Ben
Yeah.
Hmm.
I'm a
Ben
pretty boy.
Wow.
Fletcher.
Who's this Ben Fletcher on LinkedIn that kind of looks like Jim Russell?
Oh my God, he does look like Jim Russell.
Hang on. We should contact him.
And what is this podcast that I joined with John Schaefer? I don't remember doing that at all. Did John like AI me?
What the hell is going
Wait,
on?
what is going on? Anyways,
I literally do not remember that happening.
I think we're going to contact Ben Fletcher from Washington, D.C., who's an IT Service
Wait
Sales
a
Alliance
second.
Management.
Did you ever were you ever interviewed by John Schaefer on when he was doing Left Coast podcast?
Not that I recall.
Well, he pretended like you were a guest of his because that's what happened there. All right, well listen. We're going to catch up with the doctor here in a second. If you watch Monday Night Football, what you watched was a game on drugs. That game was ridiculous. So Josh Allen, well, let's start from the start. Aaron Rodgers pops his Achilles. That's confirmed now. He'll miss the season with a ruptured Achilles. Josh Allen threw 3 interceptions to the same guy and then fumbled the football running into the back of one of his offensive linemen. So basically looked just like the butt fumble. It happened in New York against the Jets. I mean, the weird similarities there. I can't even.
Right.
Bass, he kicks a field goal through, but doinks it in to send the Bills into overtime against the Jets, who then have a walk-off punt return for a touchdown.
Bills get the ball first and can't do anything with it. Then just on a punt. Unbelievable.
Xavier
run back touchdown.
Gibson undrafted rookie free agent this season. I mean, it was like no other game I've ever seen in my life. And I feel like everybody woke up this morning still reeling from that. Including maybe this man who actually, I don't know if reeling is the right word because he's the only one who is the calm voice in the storm. Dr. David Chow joining us right now. Pro Football Doc is where you find him on Twitter. Doc, so Aaron Rodgers, he has an apparent left ankle injury. He goes down. He's tended to on the field by the training staff in New York. He's helped off the field, and immediately within minutes, your team from your website and you yourself on Twitter expressed that you thought the worst was an inevitability, that this was going to be an Achilles tear. What did you see on the film that made you so confident in that diagnosis from what you saw?
Well, I get it. It's 2023 and everyone has an opinion, and Scott Van Pelt, kind of reprimanded Schefter at halftime, right? All these people guessing. I'd like to think that I'm not guessing, and you know this, Rich. It's from 17 years of studying video when I was at the Chargers. When I saw a player on the field, on the sideline, in the locker room, and the next day after an MRI, I knew exactly what it was. Yet, study and the video boys would pull up the all 22 and the TV copy and look at the video and look at the question. Nowadays, in those situations, I knew the answer. Now, I don't know the answer, but I have the question. And it's from that video study that I think what I try and say is we give injury analysis off of video, not injury reporting. And that's why we were, quote, on it early, because the information is just the video. We're not waiting for anything else. And guessing, I don't know that we're guessing. I like to call it insider knowledge of what happens as opposed to insider information. Educated guess, okay, but look, we're never 100%. Our numbers are 95% accurate over time, but I've had several media conversations during the game last night with other media guys, and I said, I think this is 99. And it's from looking at the video, position of the foot ankle, the forces with Leonard Floyd on it, the recoil, the way he walked off. And yes, it's completely possible to stand up afterwards. Look, Aaron Rodgers was pissed that he was sacked. And he was like, you didn't hurt me. I'm getting back up. We're going next play. And he was mad. And then he stood up and he went, yeah, I'm not really able to take a step here. This is not good. I'm going to sit down, right? And so it made sense that x-rays were negative because that's just a bone. There wasn't a bone problem. And honestly, it's no different than exactly what happened, Rich, on that play to allow Leonard Floyd to get the sack and how Dwayne Brown was, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's one of those things where, look, you could blame a lot of different things. The turf at MetLife, you could blame I don't know, Aaron Rodgers' age, you could blame the offensive line, but the reality is an Achilles rupture that puts him out for the season.
Right. And Rich, you mentioned his age. He is less than 3 months away from being 40 years old. And doctor, we wanted to ask you, what does this do for a 40-year-old man? How quickly can you recover from this? How well does the surgery take? Is there any possibility that was the last play we've ever seen from Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I'll ask that question, but then let's circle back to the turf issue after that. The answer is I firmly believe that this is not Aaron Rodgers' last play. Here is why. Number one, yes, he's going to have surgery. This season, no, he's really not going to play. But next season, absolutely. And I do think Achilles recovery is fairly reliable. I don't know if you guys remember it as in 2019 when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles. People were asking, will he be the same? No, he won't. Maybe he shouldn't get a max contract. And I was like, no, he's going to return to 100%. And the game of NBA basketball played above the rim is harder than that for the demands of an NFL quarterback in terms of mobility. Even if Rodgers loses a tiny bit of a step. I'm old enough to remember Dan Marino looking around back there after his Achilles. And look, even if Rodgers loses a tiny bit of mobility, he's still going to be much more mobile than Tom Brady at age 45. And with all due respect to our pal Phillip Rivers, more mobile than Phillip Rivers when he was 24, right? And so I think he's going to be able to play in return. And Rich, you know this. People would going to be the last play in his NFL career. So I firmly believe that he will come back, and that is some, hopefully at least silver lining in all this stuff for the poor Jets franchise and fans who, this is not the first time. In 1999, when Vinny Testaverde was supposed to be the savior, week 1 Achilles rupture as well for the Jets.
Doc, you mentioned MetLife's turf, and it kind of has a history of being the turf monster. I had Nick Bosa a few years back. In one game, the Niners lost like 3 different guys in a season opener against the Jets. But what is the deal with that turf, and why don't we see it more across the league?
Well, first of all, here's what I would say about turf versus grass. Not all turf is the same. There's many different types. Not all grass is the same. Many different types and field conditions. But in general, I do believe what the players are saying, which is grass is a little bit safer than turf. But bearing that in mind, we had 3 big dreaded A injuries week 1, Achilles or ACL. Jack Conklin, right tackle, Brown. ACL, MCL, grass. J.K. Dobbins, Achilles, grass. And Aaron Rodgers, turf, Achilles. To me, as I look at the video and the biomechanics of that, you could say the biggest factor obviously was, the pass rush and getting through the line. But really what it was, the number one factor biomechanically to me was Leonard Floyd on Aaron Rodgers' back as he's trying to scramble away on one leg. So one left leg has all the force of Aaron Rodgers' body and Leonard Floyd's body as he's trying to accelerate out of the grasp of the defender with all that weight, extra force. The second thing is that is the calf, that is the side of his preseason calf strain. So there may be some association there. You could argue, would this happen if Aaron Rodgers was 25 instead of 39? I get that. And then finally, there's the potential issue of turf. I believe if this were the same scenario on grass, he still would have ruptured it. Remember, it was a slick turf. Why was it a slick turf? Because of all the rain the night before and the rain before and during this game early in warm-ups, etc.
Dr. David Chow joining us at Pro Football Doc on Twitter. There is no better resource for sports injuries, especially if you have a fantasy football team, especially if you're a sports bettor and you have interest in the insights he can offer you. Also, head to SICScore.com. That's SIC score.com, Sports Injury Central, where you find a lot of this information as well. Doc, Cooper Kupp, Los Angeles Rams wide receiver, is out currently. He's got a hamstring injury. He's been nursing throughout most of the preseason. Hurt himself early August, re-injured it recently, went to Minnesota to have it viewed by a specialist. What's going on with this hammy? Like, typically you don't hear, second opinion specialists get involved with a hamstring. What more information can you offer on that front?
Yeah, I mean, he flew to Minnesota apparently to see a body specialist, which I don't even know what a body specialist is. I joke sometimes with people and I say, "Oh, what do you do?" I say, "I work at a body shop." Okay, but a body specialist, I don't even know what that is. Is this an ART guy? Is this a chiropractor? Is it a therapy guy? Is it who knows? I don't know what a quote body specialist is, but here's what we do at SIC Score is injury analysis. So when Coach McVay, with all due respect, says, Cooper Kupp, no big deal, day to day, he went for a second opinion in Minnesota, we said, no, that's coach speak. That's week to week. And pretty quickly, within a couple days, here we go, and he's out week 1, and then it turns into IR, which is minimum 4 weeks. And that's kind of what we do. So obviously he's had an aggravation. Is there some underlying tightness that he's working through or whatever? But, hamstrings are common, as you know, preseason, early season. Deontay Johnson ruled out for multiple weeks. Greg Dulcich now ruled out for multiple weeks with hamstrings. Soft tissue acclimation injuries are common, and Cooper Kupp got one early and it re-aggravated, which means it's a setback. And so it makes sense. I don't think there's anything more than it's a hamstring and he needs treatment and time, and he had a setback.
Doctor, no chance that there's some sort of nerve damage, is there, that would cause the hamstring to be, or to at least feel injured in some manner?
Well, if it's a nerve issue, it would be, a herniated disc type issue in his back. It's that were the case. And that would change the scenario from a hamstring to something else. And we don't have any information, and I don't have any suspicion of that right now in terms of anything to go on by video or reports that I could interpret that way.
Doc, we absolutely love the time we spend with you because you have insight like nobody I've ever met. And you're right. Like those years you spent in the NFL, I remember your team and many other physicians and orthopedists would want to get the film and collect that data and look at the film on the injury and not just address the injury, but actually see how the injuries occur. So again, if you want insight like this, at ProFootballDoc on Twitter, follow him there. It'll bring you to the website. And we appreciate the time as always.
No problem. And for your listeners, we got a lot of new features and a new look at the website. It should be fun. And there's also every week a free contest for $1,000 on a pick'em guaranteed payout to the winner. And it's free to go there. So go check it out, sicscore.com.
There you have it, sicscore.com, sicscore.com. There he goes, Dr. David Chow. All right, man. I mean, terrible news for the Jets. They were a quarterback away last season. They fixed that problem this offseason, and now they're right back to the drawing board.
Yeah. And where do they go? I mean, where do they go? I know that. I mean, there's a couple names that you could throw out there, Rich.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Could you imagine Riv and Gangrene?
Dude, how bizarre would that be?
So weird.
And somebody put the tweet out immediately after Aaron Rodgers went down. And I mean, timing's everything in this world. It just made me laugh so hard because they showed a picture of Tom Brady wearing a 12 jersey, like wearing the exact same jersey number, and saying Tom Brady could do the funniest SH, right now.
And he could.
That would be amazing.
Rich, did you guys see the dude David Zaslav who tweeted out 2.5 hours before the game, Aaron Rodgers is going to tear his Achilles on a rain-drenched MetLife turf in 2.5 hours?
Dude,
yeah, but
the world's a strange place.
Yeah,
and now his account is suspended.
What?
Was he a time
X.
traveler?
Yeah.
Maybe Elon knows something we
Did the
don't.
CIA just take him out?
That's not
We
good.
should just start
Not
putting
good.
out wild things on the internet and see what happens.
Well, that's the thing.
We can be the new Simpsons.
This is the thing. You would never hear of this guy or girl, whoever she is or he is.
David Zaslav.
Okay. You would never hear of this person. If this, it's just like he's betting. He's playing on something.
Yeah.
You keep throwing something out, and if something sticks, you look like you're a genius.
I think he's a time traveler.
You're just ignored.
It's the only likely option here.
All right. Yeah. I think we'll get to the bottom of this with
Tannen?
Eric Coleman coming up next. Former safety in the NFL analyst, former Jet also. I want to hear his thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, the news that he will no longer be available this season with an injury tear. We'll roll on next. But if you're rolling right now in a car and you're not happy with it, I want you to get your hands on a Toyota. All right. So if you're shopping for an SUV, a car, a truck, Toyota is the spot for you, and San Diego County Toyota dealers are the people for you. I'm speaking from experience. I've been a Toyota driver for a while now, about 6 years. I believe it was 2017 was the year that my last car broke down. Let's say it that way. I'll be kind here. But I had broken down 3 times. Had a bad transmission out the gate. I needed something more reliable. And so somebody said, hey, Toyotas run forever. I'm like, yeah, I might have to do that. I might check it out. So I went to the San Diego County dealers, Toyota dealers, and I spoke to some of the pros over there, and they got me in a 4Runner. And I had no expectations. It's been the most reliable car I've ever owned. I've been driving this thing for 6 years. I've barely had to do any maintenance to it. It's unbelievable. So if you're struggling with a car that's been failing you, it's time for a Toyota. Also, if you're interested in the Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles like Toyota's new all-electric BZ4X with access to HOV lanes and 1 year unlimited free charging with EVgo, they can help you out. San Diego County Toyota dealers, they have an incredible stock. They have great deals on super reliable vehicles, and their customer service is next to nobody else. I mean, they are incredible. Vehicles arriving daily. Head out now. Go to Toyota.com. Check out their inventory there. And coming up next, Eric Coleman, former Jet. We'll get the scoop on Aaron Rodgers and what's next for the season. That's on the other side.
This update is presented by Macy's Backstage. We'll begin here with Monday Night Football. The Jets beat the Bills 22-16 with a walk-off punt return in overtime. But the story of the night is that 4 plays into the game, Aaron Rodgers suffered an injury. He ended up being carted to the locker room. Early speculation has since been confirmed. Aaron Rodgers has a ruptured Achilles tendon. He will miss the rest of the season. Elsewhere in the NFL, Kansas City Chiefs, after a Week 1 loss to the Lions, they have now signed defensive Chris Jones to a 1-year deal, ending his holdout. The Padres played one of their best games of the season last night. They took down the Dodgers 11-8 with late inning heroics from Juan Soto. He had a 3-run shot in the ninth, a pair of homers from Manny Machado in the game. Unfortunately, they are having just 17 games left in the season, still 8 games out of the postseason. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under, like sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, jackets, and more. To find the latest trends and new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, rolling through a Tuesday, but starting Monday, September 18th, when you listen on your free iHeartRadio app, you unlock your shot at taking home a part of music history. Open the free iHeartRadio app to win exclusive prizes signed by some of this year's legendary performers at our iconic 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. No one connects artists and fans like iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app today and get ready for the biggest weekend in music. iHeartRadio, free, never sounded so good. Wow. Did you finish that?
Yeah. That's 40 ounces of water.
40 ounces of freedom. So, wait, hold on. I've had a cup of water. Wait, I had a bottle of water on my way in.
Oh, dude, you got to count it all.
Okay.
So,
Gotta count them all. Just like Pokemon.
Gonna count 'em
So
all.
I've probably had 2 bottles worth so far.
See, when you say bottle, how much is a bottle?
16 ounces.
16.
16.9.
So each one of these bad boys is 2 bottles of water?
Yeah, that's about true. Yeah. This is
Roughly.
this is 40 ounces. I love the dong that it makes. It's the bottle dong.
It doesn't do that.
Mine is
It
not.
sounds like the sound effects from old like cartoons when people would punch each other.
Yeah, that's the old Stanley.
By the way, we are Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Find us on the free iHeartRadio app. Find us on YouTube. Find us on TikTok. Big Rich, TD, Fletch, everywhere.
Airware.
Hey, we got some picks in, by the way. Oh, we got a guest.
By the way, we got to call Eric Coleman.
Yeah.
Do you have his number, by the way? No. All right, I'll send it to you.
We just went over to our FM counterparts there and had a little friendly bet with them, a little wager, and we had to pick a team that we thought would make it to the Super Bowl. Right. Ben got to pick first. Yeah. So Fletch gets number 1 pick with the Niners, and it's locked in now. Who did you pick? Chiefs.
I took the Chiefs.
Yeah, I took the Bengals. I was number 5.
You took.
So
oh yeah, you did
was-
take it. Yeah, you kind of got because Clint took the Cowboys before you, right?
Right.
Would you have even considered taking the Cowboys?
You know what? It's rough because the Cowboys, I think, look amazing.
Yeah.
Their defense looked unstoppable on Sunday.
Yeah.
However, I think they're hexed, man. I think they're hexed, and I don't know.
That's another franchise that you can count on them to win double-digit games when they have a good roster, and then get to the postseason and just something goes wrong.
Yeah,
it just goes haywire.
Chris Boyer took the Eagles, which that I was also leaning on that one. And then it was kind of do I go Bills, Bengals?
I know.
And I just I like Joe Burrow in a fur coat.
I will say this. I was surprised because I don't know about their sports chops over there, but nobody picked a really bad pick.
Right.
They were all reasonable picks.
Right. Wasn't like, I'm going to pick this team because of the color.
Right. Yeah. All right. Joining us right now, gonna catch up on this Monday Night Football game we just watched. Jets hosting the Buffalo Bills. Aaron Rodgers. It's now official. He ruptured his Achilles tendon. He will miss the 2023 season. But joining us on the phone line, it's Eric Coleman, former NFL player, current NFL analyst, good buddy of mine. Eric, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Actually, I've been a lot better. Last night really took the wind out of a lot of people's sails, including mine. So I'm kind of in recovery right now.
Yeah. Okay, so we're reeling too. That game was bonkers. All right, so Josh Allen and the 3 picks and the turnover at the end of the game, the doink-in field goal to help tie the football game there, the punt return for a touchdown. But really the story of the day is the fact that the Jets are without their starting quarterback. that had created so much excitement for Jets fans. What is the reaction in New York? How do you think the fans are handling this news?
Everyone is heartbroken. You have some of the fans that are like, of course, this happens to the Jets. Others are, everyone was pretty much excited. And I don't know of any football fan that wasn't excited to watch Aaron Rodgers play for the Jets. You had all the celebrities at the game. You had, everyone wanted to see what was going to happen when he came to the Big Apple. And for it to end in 4 plays, it was disheartening. The Jets fans are beside themselves. We're trying to figure out, who's going to be the quarterback. If the GM, if Joe Douglas is going to make a move for another quarterback, is he going to stick with Zach Wilson? There's so many questions in the air right now. With such a complete team that they had together, it's just kind of like, what are the next steps for this team?
Eric, what's your gut say? Do the Jets go out and find another quarterback? And if so, who?
I've been hearing quite a few names. I've heard of, the Andy Daltons, Carson Wentz, Jameis Winston. I've even heard about possibly trying to go out and get Matt Stafford from the Rams. They're a team that's looking forward to a new quarterback. Maybe they want, Caleb Williams for next year. It'd be great to have a veteran quarterback who can lead the way, who's done it before under center for the Jets with his team. But any way you go, it's going to be a tough transition. Nathaniel Hackett has a complicated offense. There's a lot of different terminology. It would be at a quarterback's disadvantage just to be plugged in the middle of the season, learning a new offense with new personnel. It's going to be a tough task. So for the time being, they're going to ride with Zach Wilson and see if he can pick up and improve from his last 2 seasons.
Eric, you were an excellent safety on the Jets for many years, and now this Jets defense looks like it's ready to win a Super Bowl right now. So, take the quarterback thing out of it, but is this one of the best Jets defense you've ever seen?
It really is. It really is. From top to bottom, this is a stacked defense. The defensive line led by Quinnen Williams, they have so much depth, so much athleticism, power up front. They're creating pressure. They did a great job last night of getting after Josh Allen. The linebackers, C.J. Mosley has been an all-pro linebacker for a couple of years. And then, Quincy Williams, Quinnen's older brother, had a fantastic game. He was all over the field. He's been a guy that the Jets have been high on for the last couple of years. And on the back end, Sauce Gardner and, of course, Jordan Whitehead, who had 3 interceptions last night. They really have a lot of game changers back there in the back end. It's disappointing, to not be able to count on all those points, and to see what this defense can do playing with the lead. It's as tough as it is, as a defense playing, when you're playing from behind, when you're playing a tight game. But when you play from a lead, that's when that D-line can pin their ears back. That's when the secondary can start jumping routes and making plays. And I was looking forward to that this year. Unfortunately, they probably won't have that luxury, but I think they'll still put together a great product on defense.
Eric Coleman joining us this morning, 9-year NFL veteran, started his career with the New York Jets, drafted there, then played with the Falcons and the Detroit Lions after that. Joining this morning to talk about this Jets team who really reeling after the loss of Aaron Rodgers for the season. But if they get it figured out at quarterback, this is a high ceiling team. You think about Zach Wilson, if he can do it, or if they get a quarterback from outside, because I look at players like Breece Hall. I look at players like Garrett Wilson on that offense. We already talked about the defense. They're stacked over there too. But like Garrett Wilson, especially through the lens of a former defensive back in this league, like how talented is this guy? Because that was already a catch of the year candidate, that corner of the end zone shot. And it's only week 1, and it was one of his first catches of the season.
For this guy's talent, he's a terrific route runner. He has top end speed. He can change direction like a punt returner, and he has amazing body control and hands. So, a guy who works really hard at his craft. It was unfortunate he didn't really get too many opportunities last night to show the world, why he was the rookie of the year last year. But that one catch was fantastic. He's made plays like that throughout his career here with the Jets last season and the offseason through training camp. And, I think that if they can find a way to feature Garrett, to get him the ball, he's going to continue to make plays. And he can be, an all-pro type receiver if given the opportunities. But that's been the problem with the Jets, is getting him the ball in open space.
Sad news for the New York Jets losing their starting quarterback, but they got the win somehow. We didn't even get to the Xavier Gibson punt return for touchdown, but that was just absolutely bananas last night. Eric, we really appreciate the time this morning. Awesome talking to you, and we'll catch up again somewhere down the line in the season, man.
All right, I look forward to it. Thanks for having me, guys.
There goes Eric Coleman, former safety in the league.
Dude, listen to this. This next 5 or 6 weeks here for the Jets: Cowboys, Patriots, Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles, Giants, Chargers. I mean, they've got to get it figured out in a hurry.
In a hurry. Okay. We have power rankings out for the first time in the NFL season. Who's on top?
And
any surprises?
SeaWorld tickets.
And Hollow Scream SeaWorld tickets.
There's also some ramifications from this Aaron Rodgers injury that we didn't really think about, but it's hidden in his contract. And we could talk about those next.
Little bit of controversy there. Okay, we'll get to all that on the other side. NFL power rankings on the other side. Also, a little Easter egg hidden in Aaron Rodgers' contract, and it has to do with his injury. That's next. Hey, so there's a lot going on everywhere around the world right now, but free never sounded so good. I can tell you that much. All right, take San Diego Sports 760 with you anywhere on your free iHeartRadio app.
Yeah,
You can subscribe, get our podcast any time of day. If you missed any of the 6 or 7 o'clock hours and you're with us right now, can I tell you guys something that will shatter your heart for this one person?
Yeah.
Somebody had a parlay of every single NFL game on the money line.
No.
Every single game.
He had the Bills.
He had the Minnesota Vikings as the one loss.
No way. Oh
Wow.
God. Okay, well at least it happened. But then he got all the rest of them right.
But then he got to watch the rest of them hit.
Okay.
It was a $10 bet, would have paid out in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Okay, I do feel bad for him, but it would be way worse if you lose in walk-off fashion last night on the last game.
Right. I honestly don't know. I don't know what would be worse. Because Vikings were in the early window on Sunday. So he knew by Sunday at 1 o'clock that the bet was over.
Yeah, you're done.
But then watching the rest of the games and seeing them all hit.
I guess it does sting because you're like, yeah, actually, good point. Because last night he was going, well, at least the Bills won and then the Jets won. And you're just like, how could this have happened?
Could you imagine getting every single game right? In the freaking Vikings, who should have won, but Kirk Cousins turned in a dog.
Yeah, I'd print that thing out and frame it.
Yeah,
it's too cool.
Yeah, put it in the garage. Yeah, tell all your friends for the rest of your life. Get a couple of free lunches telling that story.
I mean, he would have woken up with $400,000 in the bank today.
Really quick.
Fletch, he could have bought an X-wing.
We just talked. He could have bought an X-wing fighter.
So close.
At very least, gotten the first bid in. Ben, you told us about the contract stipulation in Aaron's contract. Aaron Rodgers goes down. It is now official. Ruptured Achilles tendon. He will not play the 2023 season. But there was language in the contract between the Jets and the Green Bay Packers with this trade. What exactly was it again?
This hurts the Packers. So if you remember, and Travis brought this up in break, there was a big holdup on the Jets side of this contract.
They didn't want to give up a first rounder.
So they're not anymore. So the Packers put in, or the Jets put in there, that if Rodgers plays 65+% of the snaps during this season, they will send the first rounder back. But if he doesn't, it's going to be a second rounder.
Wow.
So the Packers now get screwed on the backside of this, which, ironic, Aaron Rodgers is hurting the Packers once again.
Dude. So this was
just can't stop.
It wasn't his contract. It was a trade deal between the Packers and the Jets. Jets very smart, by the way, to build in a trap door just in case, because, I mean, he's 40.
The Jets were right.
The Jets were right. And it's so rare that you can actually say that sentence.
No Jets fan is like going silver lining here, like, oh, thank God. Like, I'm glad Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Now we don't have to give up a first rounder.
I'm having trouble opening the article, but we have these power rankings. Oh, actually, yeah, I got it open.
I kept hitting a paywall.
Well, it's athletic. You guys not subscribe?
No, I haven't.
Oh, yeah, I always subscribe to
password. As usual.
Okay, anyways, Cowboys are 1. These are our power rankings after the first week of play. Cowboys 1, Niners 2. The Browns shot up the list. They're not at 3, but they're in the top 10.
Okay, what's the biggest surprise here?
The Browns.
The Browns. Yeah,
to me, the Browns being in the top 10, like.
Well, they beat a good team. I mean, the Cincinnati Bengals, if you look at preseason power rankings, and I'm sure that's what this is based on, you would assume Cincinnati would have handled the Browns. In fact, they were the favorites on the road in a bad weather game going to Cleveland to beat the Browns.
Divisional matchup. And by the way, that stat we had early in the week, the 13-1 over the last couple, or I can't remember exactly what it was, but divisional matchups, dogs do so well in week 1. That held true this week.
Jared Smith, our betting analyst, who will join us every single Friday of the NFL season. He's the one who gave us that little nugget, and it held up, man. Dogs and unders for the first 2 weeks of the NFL season and the college football season. If you're falling in love with like an under in terms of the total, or if you've fallen in love with an underdog, now's the time to take them. Because, I mean, things start to get sorted out. And what I mean by that, it's not necessarily like, oh, well, these teams figure out what they are and the favorites always win. No. The handicappers get better. So you're going to see less huge upsets as a result. You know, you're not going to see as many Colorado beating TCU on the road 20.5-point dogs.
And we generally know, well, that is especially true for college football because you have no idea what these teams are. But in the NFL, defenses generally are better early. Offenses get better later.
Yeah.
Fletch, Rich, Zach Wilson's mom did post during the game. One, she said she was heartbroken for Aaron Rodgers going down, but she did write in her Instagram, I guess, reel, whatever you call it, even though Rodgers is my fantasy QB. Now, before I continue on there, do you think she meant on her fantasy team or just in general?
No, I don't think she meant on her fantasy team.
Yeah.
In fact, I prefer it that way.
That's exactly right. She did say she was very happy for the Wilsons.
Is she running for Congress, by the way?
I'm hoping so.
Oh my God.
Feel like I'll vote.
The Virginia Congress lady.
Yeah, we know.
I'm just saying.
What?
Yeah, she
just likes to chat.
Yeah, she just likes to chat. She likes to live stream some tips for her constituents. Wonder how she's doing in the polling.
Zach Wilson. Oh my God. Zach Wilson was very politically correct. Zach Wilson was very PC in his post-game comments and did all the right things about Aaron Rodgers. Like, I'm heartbroken for him. But I was listening to LeVar Arrington this morning do a translation of what Zach Wilson actually meant in his post-game presser. And LeVar stepped back from the mic. You could hear it. And he went, "Yeah, baby!"
Yes.
Wow. As we talked about Zach Wilson's mom and the Virginia Congress lady, I was going to say, speaking of strokes, we're going golfing today.
If you want to sign up to be our next winner, head over to sportssd.com and click on the contest and promotions tab. You will see free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, presented by our friends at Long Ball. We are heading out to Steel Canyon today with our buddy CJ. Can't wait to meet you, pal.
Wait, are the transfusions out?
The transfusions are out.
Oh,
I am going to
Looks
be
like
drinking.
We're going to be having one of those or 10.
Mhm.
Who do we thank today, Ben?
We thank Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, for jumping on the show, giving us the analysis on Aaron Rodgers and his future in the NFL. Also, Eric Coleman, Jets safety for a while. He came on and talked about that defense for the Jets, which is going to be a problem for everyone in the National Football League. Subscribe and listen to the podcast at iHeartRadio, at Big Rich, TD Fletch, everywhere you'll find us.
We're going to have another 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld coming up tomorrow. Coming up next, The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Call now for your SeaWorld tickets today.
Oh, 844-570-1360, 844-570-1360. Caller number 5 is going to win the Hollow Scream SeaWorld tickets right now.